to be a long night, girls. A long
Get
night.
your clap out again. I just like seeing Mikey clap.
I just make Mikey clap all night. I know,
They're getting less and
Let's
less.
just crack on. Let's just crack on.
Okay,
Right, we've got
let's
two guests
go.
with us today, Izzy and Verna. I did it, yeah?
Yeah,
They're the names. Thank you. Yeah, sorry about that. Remember the names. Welcome, girls. Thank you for joining us on Educating Idiots podcast. How pure coincidence have turned up in t-shirts.
I can't believe you got
I
that.
can't believe it.
Have you bought them online?
Yeah,
For the merch?
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate that, girls. It looks good.
yeah, it does look good. Yeah, it does look good. So basically, this podcast, first time we've had females on our podcast, which goes to show episode 9, first time how sexist we are. So we kind of need to change that image a little bit by getting girls on the podcast.
And then being sexist towards you. That's the thing. So we're going to try not to be.
Jokes.
Yeah.
But thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
We were talking about how we want this podcast to go, what we're going to talk about. And it became very apparent to us that, we're 3 40-year-old blokes. And you two are 21, did you say?
21.
21 and 23. So Charlie, that guy that we pay too much with this ridiculously good studio, has written some questions in a bowl over there, and we're going to play question roulette to get this podcast going.
nice.
A little bit.
Okay.
I saw that. I was wondering what that was.
Yeah, we are going to go for that bowl in a bit and start asking some questions. But I think before we get into that bit, I just do want to acknowledge, on a serious note, that obviously the city of Nottingham has experienced something massively tragic yesterday. Literally, the whole world press looking at the city at the moment. And it came out today, I think it was all late last night, that it was actually 2 students, with 2 of the 3 victims. Obviously, horrendous, can't really put it into words, the shock. And we don't quite know the motivation behind the attack. But from your guys' point of view, 2 young women, you've come to this city, both of you, you're not from here. You expect to be safe. What's it been like today for you guys? Like, what's the vibe been like where you socialise? Have you been to university today?
No, so we finished.
You finished, right.
We've just finished 3rd year, but I think we have like a group chat with all of our close mates in, and we all did get a bit emotional. I think we all had a cry at one point because I think it hit close to home. Like, they left the club that we literally go to every weekend.
Yeah.
They walked down the same roads that we walked down. Like,
So sad.
It literally happened.
it could have been anyone.
Yeah, it literally happened in the road between me and one of our mates.
Yeah.
So it was like above my house. So I was
Yeah.
like,
Wow.
fuck. And it's also like,
Yeah.
it literally happened in the bar where half the people that I hang out with hang out. They walked out of that bar and then they walked home. There's so many of my mates that work in that bar. It could have been any of them that
real
lived
close
that
to
way.
home, yeah.
It was just like, at first I think they first said that they were in prison. But then they said that they were in Bodega, which is literally where we hang out
Yeah, we go there
every day.
Wow.
So it was like, Jesus Christ. It literally could have been us, but
I think
we decided.
as well, like, Nottingham's such a small, close-knit community.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
everyone knows
Yeah.
everyone somehow. And we did say, like, one of us was bound to know one of the people that died.
Yeah.
And one of my friends that actually used to be on the England volleyball team with, she posted a tribute because she went to school with him. So it was just like,
Yeah, it's awful.
it hit close to home, I think. Whereas
Yeah.
normally it's it's in the UK, you don't normally get
Yeah.
this. And I
No.
feel like we're used to it being in America, so we're quite like detached from the situation. But because it was so close to home,
Yeah, it's interesting because I was on the phone to somebody today at work and he said, we all expect this stuff in America. It's almost like an eye roll situation again in America. We don't expect it here in the UK. And I just think being in our city as well, it's really, it took us all back. But I suppose for you two as well, as students yourself here, that must have felt that a little bit closer to your reality of what's happened.
I think it could have been anyone.
Yeah.
It was world news as well. My uncle came back from Australia and they texted him and said, be careful in Nottingham. Because of the way it was being like presented on the news. So, and we did the Nottingham radio yesterday, didn't we?
He made a point of talking about it.
Yeah, and you could see inside in the studio there was shock, wasn't there? There was running
it was
around.
pretty manic, to be fair. Yeah, I think they were
intense.
just busy working out the stories, what's been happening, what the allegations were. Like, I think that's still ongoing at the minute, and nobody knows what's what.
Well, initially thought it was a terror attack, didn't they? Because
That's what they said.
Well,
I was in work.
Yeah, well, I was walking through town at 8:30 that morning.
Oh, of course you was,
and on the group chat, the work group chat, one of the girls in the office just put terror attack in town. Don't go to town. I'm like,
I literally got to town and then
I was about to go to work because what happened is I work in White Rose, those charity shops, and they closed off the street where my shop is, and I literally walked past and I was like, there was 5 police cars. I was like, fuck. I was like, I'm gonna have to deal with this shit. And then they were like, they messaged us and they were like, oh, everybody who was supposed to go to 5 report to the shop in Victoria Centre. And I thought it was a terror attack. So I literally said to my retail director, I was like, fuck you, I'm not going to a shopping centre.
Yeah, straight
I was like, do you know
home.
what happens? I was like, no, I'm not doing that. But then they said there was not. So I was like, okay, fine. But to be fair, I felt more safe in a shopping centre than out on the street, because literally they got bodyguards to walk on all the floors all the time.
Yeah.
They just walked back and forth, which was really good, but it was absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, what's the maroon suits? There was guys with maroon suits.
Yeah, no one had seen them before.
No,
They
I
had, like,
haven't.
an N
That's what
thing
I mean.
on. I don't know.
I think they're was it anti?
People were saying
I asked somebody and they're anti-terrorist.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they were a new branch that's been created as a result of the Manchester bombings.
Ah, right, that makes
They
sense.
were pretty quick to
Counter-terrorist
deal with
police,
it.
basically.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
But there's police everywhere that day, and you know what? There was these police. They were stood on the top of Hockley, balaclavas, because the counter-terrorist police have to wear balaclavas to protect their identity.
Wow.
Boiling hot sun, just stood there like for hours in that heat. I was like, oh, I feel sorry for those guys. But yeah, there was everywhere. But yeah, it was a bit unnerving yesterday, and obviously it still is today. And you know,
Well, yeah, people aren't going home to the families. That's going to be a big thing.
Yeah.
That's why it's shocking.
Yeah. So I just thought we better mention that out of respect. And, you know,
send our condolences.
Send our condolences, and our heart goes out to all the families. But yeah, okay. So let's crack on. So I think this is a good way to get this podcast going.
I'm scared with it.
I think the premise is they're questions that are going to really give us some opinions and
Okay.
see what the different opinions are. And I think we want to see what the different opinions are cross gender and cross a generation almost, and just see what differences and
each
similarities
other's
we've got.
opinions rather than
Yeah.
questions at each other. So we're all going to
Yeah.
share our opinion.
Yeah. Who wants to go first?
I think you got to get
Yeah.
Go on.
Go,
Straight
Verna,
in,
straight in.
I feel like I'm in school.
I know,
yeah. Community. Do the LGBTQ plus have enough support in modern day society? No.
Do you not think so? Straight away.
No.
Because I think, and when you think about modern day society, if you think about in the UK, sure, a little bit. I still don't think it's enough. When you think about, for example, for transgender people, I still don't think there's enough. And also I had a conversation with one of my friends who uses they, them pronouns. And they literally said to me, they were like, I don't think there's enough education about pronouns and stuff like that, because people still don't go up like, hi, I'm Verna, I'm she, her. Like, I think there still needs to be development in that type
What,
of...
do you think people need to do that when they meet them?
Yeah.
To say your pronouns and...
Just because...
I wouldn't want to do that, can't I?
Yeah, I know you wouldn't want to, but it would make the person who uses different pronouns more comfortable, if that makes sense.
That's what makes it difficult for me, because I'm all for you can be whoever you want to be in this world, as long as you're not hurting anybody. Go for it. So when you pronounce your own pronouns and then you expect someone else to do that as well, you're expecting something from someone else, whereas I can see that as a bit sort of, why should we change the rules to suit somebody else? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not in a bad way,
But
just in a
feel like
questionable way.
That's also that's like a very good point, because also you don't know. I think we should do that, but also I'm kind of contradicting it, because of like, I don't think everybody's comfortable to say their pronouns.
Of course, yeah.
So I think it comes to that point.
I think it should be inclusive, but I think if you're the person that is, not that it's going against the norm, but like in society now, if I was to say hi, you would think I'm a girl unless I specified otherwise, right?
Yeah.
So I think if you identify as something else, make it aware to people, and if that's when they don't respect
But
then that's an issue.
Like, for example, our friend that I'm talking about,
Sophie.
they're femme presenting.
Yeah.
So how would they show?
But then
But if
again,
I
this
was like,
idea.
oh, babes, I can't think of a situation, but if I was like, oh, she wants a drink, and she goes, oh no, sorry, that's not how I identify as they, them, then I've been told.
Yeah, but
No?
you know, that type of thing, like, people expect that type of thing to be said as soon as you meet someone.
How would you? Yeah, because I would be confused in that. How? So if you was meeting somebody, how would I know? That's where I'd feel.
Well, I think the question
there's
there
an
is
option.
you use the word expect. So this is about expectations, and is there a question?
It's never going to become a reality.
Are those expectations set a little bit too high? Because it's really easy to misgender people if you present as a certain gender traditionally.
Yeah.
And I think the in my opinion, I've got a problem with the question. Charlie's put community as that.
Yeah,
modern
question.
LGBT.
read it again.
But we say LGBTQ community. Yeah.
LGBTQ plus. Yeah.
I'm a straight man. For example, if I was a gay man, I wouldn't want to be put in a community. what has being trans got to do with being gay?
Yeah.
Why am I being placed in a category, in a box?
It's almost...
And this is where I feel like at the moment what we're doing is we're segregating. We're taking these groups of people, place them together, and we're making them different. Rather than just
Accepting
a cross-board acceptance of everything.
Mm.
And if we have that cross-board acceptance of everyone, maybe they'll have more of an acceptance than when we misgender them.
And people wouldn't fear it as well, I think.
Fear
people
it,
fear it
yeah.
and then feel like they're going to say something wrong. And then by doing that, then creates a divide. And then that divide makes it harder for people to get on. Because it's like if someone explained to me, oh, I want to be, say like having a drink, I want to be called that. Yeah, it's fine. It's not a problem. But if they're waiting to be offended by it because they're afraid, then that already sets up a divide. And I think talking about it is the best way.
Don't you think people now are offended with everything?
Yes.
Like you can legitimately be like, I love daisies, and they're like, what daisies? It's just it's that type of thing of like you can just people.
What
get
about
offended.
lilies?
Yeah, literally, people get offended so easily, and I
think
do
woke
fully
culture is
agree
a
with your
problem.
point. I think. I'm honestly going to say for myself, I'm a bisexual, but I don't have the need to go up to people and be like, hi, I'm bisexual. Because I think that's dumb, because in my head, what does my sesexuality have to do with you?
Exactly that.
Like,
I agree.
if it's like a big thing for you to come out and, say it to people, sure, amazing. Yeah. That's a good achievement for you. I'm totally up for that. But I'm not going to say don't care in a sense of like, I neglect it. Yeah, that's good. If you're part of that community, amazing. But like, I don't judge you based on it. So it's like, I don't care.
And also, you wouldn't
do.
meet someone and go, hi, I'm heterosexual.
Yeah.
So why would you do it the other way around?
So why would you? I just think it all should be just equal.
Yeah.
But is there enough support for LGBTQ? No. But then again,
that's really interesting that you say that, because I think that if we ask a question, are they getting enough support? We need something to compare it to. For us, as 40-year-olds, I can tell you now, 20 years ago, not only was there zero support for them, but they were abused.
Yeah.
They were, cast away from society if you were in that community, and it was openly spoke about in society. Our grandparents, especially, and maybe some of our parents, they would be like not supporting them, but wanting to them, taking the piss out of them.
Yeah, wouldn't accept
really
it. Yeah.
prejudiced.
Yeah.
So for us, when we say they get the support, for us, they're getting loads of support now.
In comparison,
It's being taught about in schools, and it's being spoken about on TV. You've got celebrities, you've got gay pride. We're talking about it now. People are raising awareness. So it's interesting how my answer to that question would be completely different to yours.
Yeah.
Not because I disagree with you, but probably because our perspective on where we are in our lives.
Well, see, to be fair,
but we've grown up with it. Like I've grown up with it.
I haven't.
Yeah,
I come from a
haven't, but I
conservative
have.
country.
Course,
we don't talk about it.
I was going to ask you about that next.
We don't talk about it at
Yeah.
all. I came here, and I think like the first thing that came to me is like, I apologized to our friend Sophie, and I was like, I am really sorry if I used the wrong pronouns just because I haven't been educated on it. She is more educated on it than I am, just because they don't talk about it. Being gay, I mean, I'm not gonna, because of what happened yesterday, I'm not gonna say the situations that I've heard happen for gay people, and especially in Montenegro, because it's like one of the worst socially countries. It's horrible. Like the murders that will go on is just absolutely insane. But it's just like, I came from that, so I moved here, and I was like, wow, I actually don't know anything. Like I was just a bit like, I don't know. I don't know
when
anything.
Was that?
What
That you moved here?
3 years ago.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. So I was just quite in shock. Like I just moved, and I was like, oh, okay.
You've done well to
sure.
adapt so quick then.
Thank you.
No, you have.
It's because I have friends who are, part of the LGBTQ. I have POC friends. So we have so many POC friends that I come up to them and I'm like, if I'm buying something that's from another culture, please tell me if it's cultural appropriation, because I genuinely don't know. So I would rather you tell me to be like, that's not okay for you to wear. Okay, sound, I won't. Then, for me to wear it and then somebody come up in the public and be like, you're actually like culturally appropriating something. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry.
That sounds so complicated.
Something. It's just, it blows my mind. All this stuff does. All this new kind of like
it does.
This woke movement of people will come up to you and tell you that you've done something wrong because it's bothered them. Where for me, I struggle to get in that mindset because I just want to take responsibility.
Where is the
for
end to
myself.
that though? Where's the
Never.
end? That's going to expand forever, isn't it? That's the thing.
So do you agree it's not a good thing then?
What do you mean?
With how woke people are and how...
No, I don't.
I think it's taken way too far.
This is the thing. Woke is one thing, but then it comes to extremists, which is like, what the hell?
So that's the liberal extremism is kind of what we're getting a lot of at the moment.
It's too much.
And it's pushing normal liberals, which I consider myself like a left-leaning person who would always vote for a left-leaning party. It's making me more conservative because I just don't want nothing to do with it.
I think it's like kind of one of those things where if someone's ramming something down your throat, you're not going to want to take it either way.
Yeah.
So like,
I think it also makes you afraid to talk about things. So from my age, to enter into a conversation straight away, you're thinking, that there's so many rules to that I think I'm going to get it wrong. So I'm not offend anyone, and you don't end up conversing or talking. So I think
it's just about. I think it's just a way of like we need to find a way that's about educating people in a way that's good for everyone.
Yeah.
Like I think what you've well literally, but
podcasts are one of the
the way that you go again about like conducting yourself is very good.
I would rather say in advance, I'm not educated on it. I don't know. Please correct me on it if I'm saying something wrong.
That's
Please
a great
do.
attitude.
Like I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine with you coming up to me and be like, hey, what you said is actually not okay.
Yeah.
Sound.
And I think as long as everyone's open to it, then
but not
everyone
everybody
will
is.
get along great.
You're gonna have. I've had multiple situations. I bought this like coat. It's like an Oriental coat, and this woman came up to me while I was out once, and she said that I'm culturally appropriating. But then my friend who's from East Asia, but it was a white woman, so I'm not. We're not even gonna talk about
was
that.
her name Karen?
I just labeled her as a Karen. But then my friend who's from East Asia, he was like, I love that you're supporting our culture.
Oh yeah, they want you to embrace it.
It's also like whilst I was working, I was wearing these traditionally Indian earrings, and this really old Indian woman comes up to me. She's like, I love that you're wearing those earrings with everyday clothing. So I got in a whole conversation with her and stuff like that. I don't know. It's just people get so weird about it. People also got really weird about me buying my best friend who's British. I bought her traditionally Croatian earrings, and a British person got weird about it, and I was like, I bought her the earrings.
Listen, I think them people are wrong. I'm just going to say it.
They are.
What right have you got to go to somebody else and make them have your opinion or make them think your way? Everybody's free. Like
culturally appropriate as well. I was just thinking, sorry, because it's a great point. But what would the English version of that be in other countries? I can't imagine. Like
going for an old
Jack.
Yeah. That's culturally appropriate. Like, there's no culture. I don't know. But yeah, sorry, Karen.
British culture is just not allowed to be
I was about to
spoken
say,
about.
we probably don't really have
We
one. do
are-
we?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
You don't. I'm so sorry, but you don't. I apologize.
We feel like we do, but we definitely don't.
No, you don't.
And it's not good.
You just
as well.
stole it from other people.
Correct.
Well, I think if you start looking back through history of the British Empire,
You've got a point.
we stole quite a lot of
Welcome
stuff.
to the British Museum,
Do you
the
know what
Museum
our
of
culture is
Robbery.
there?
That is
Football.
exactly what it is. The
Yeah.
Museum of
Football.
Robbery.
Football though,
What do you mean?
that's like a big culture from England.
Yeah,
English football is a huge culture.
Yeah, it is, it is,
and
it is.
there's
It
a lot
did
of
start in England.
It
so-
is.
Yeah, well done for sticking up for us,
Thank
Izzy.
you.
Hey,
You won.
Izzy.
no, listen, there is a British culture, but
Yeah.
we're not allowed to talk about British culture. It's racist. No, that's true. No, we're not.
That is
We're not allowed
true.
to hang England
That
flags
is
up.
true.
Yeah,
No one celebrates St. George's Day.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about English culture. If you want to know what English culture is, just watch a film called This Is England, and that's all the English culture you need. You ever seen that film?
No, I
You
haven't.
know, watch it. That's English culture for you. Then you've got a lot of upper class culture, like your
Downton Abbey.
yeah, you're Downton Abbey type.
Yeah.
You know,
Pride and
English tea,
Prejudice.
gardens and all that sort
The
of
shit
stuff.
that was good.
There's a middle ground to that though that
Sorry?
no one did a program on. Well, I don't know. I suppose Coronation Street.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
That's
fucking
English
hell.
culture. It's
Yeah.
English
Coro.
culture. It's English culture. It is.
Yep.
It is. But I think that with this stuff, my problem is with the root of all of this is why is everyone so bothered? I don't understand is why does everybody want to put their emotions? Why am I going to give you the responsibility of my emotions?
It's because it came to this point where everybody's allowed to speak their mind. And I'm not saying that you're not allowed to say your opinions, but it came to this point where people are just blurting out things.
I think you're allowed to speak your own mind, but it's
Of
not. But then
course.
it's
But
being
not shove it down my
offended.
throat.
Yeah, shove it down your
But
throat. I'm
when
offended.
you think about liberals, imagine liberals as those people on the streets in Nottingham that talk about Christianity. We all hate them because they're horrible and they're shoving Christianity down your throat.
Yeah.
But imagine a liberal 22 or 21-year-old extremist woman in the street yelling. Everybody would also hate her because like, what the fuck are you doing? So it's just like, you just put yourself in those shoes. Like imagine doing, to me, it's the same thing. You're shoving something that I don't want down my throat. You do what you need to do. If you feel like you want to identify yourself like that, if you want to feel like that, great, good. Doesn't affect me.
See, you're a young
1-year-old,
21-year-old. Why don't everybody have that mentality? Like, you've come from this generation
We
where
don't meet
everybody
many
is
young people
judging.
like you,
No,
so
yeah,
this
that's
is surprising
refreshing.
for
Like, where did you get that from? Do you think? Are you the same as well as they? Do you have that
Yeah.
same outlook? See,
Well,
that's
I'm just
that's
like,
positive,
if
really,
I
for us.
don't know. I think for me, it's like I just deal with my own shit. Like I've got too much stuff in my life to be thinking
To deal
about
with anybody
other people.
else's,
And like I fully accept like hardships, and I'm fully supportive of everyone. But like it's not, I don't go out of my way to be like
No,
about anything other than
effort.
I don't have time for it. It sounds bad, but I don't have time.
I think there's so
That's a
many.
good thing because you're filling your time with, you know what I mean, things that are
Because there's a lot
meaningful.
of angry, entitled young people out there at the moment. Lots of them.
Yeah. I think some of them have valid reasons, and I think some of them don't.
Yeah.
But I do feel like maybe we're really good at dealing with them because we deal with quite a lot of them. Because I think in the creative industry, you deal with a lot of woke people.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Because you meet so many
like
people.
Mikey, he's in the creative industry. He's well woke.
Hey up, Mikey. But you meet people that are from different cultures, different backgrounds, income levels, gender, races, and your eyes are open to things. Like, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I think we're quite open to have conversations with everyone, and we get along with everyone great. But there are some people that we just choose to stay away from. Yeah.
I think when you go with that attitude as well, to get on and to understand that other people don't necessarily understand exactly what you're saying, and then it's an easier way of forming a conversation and realizing that everyone's just human and trying to get on.
Yeah.
And like you say,
I think it also comes to that simple point of, if what you're saying I don't agree with, fine.
Yes.
You go and do
Yeah,
your own
it's fine.
life. I'll do
Each
my
to their
own.
I'm never going to argue.
Why would
it.
I have to argue with you
Yeah.
and try to prove, like, for example, I had an argument recently about a person because I am an agnostic. So I believe there's something above us. I don't believe it's God. I say that it's the universe. So I explained my own way of how I believe, and I said that to the person. They were like, it's bullshit. And I was like, okay. Okay, good for
so you give your
think
opinion.
it's bullshit.
Yeah.
That's fine. We won't talk anymore. Bye.
That's the best way to deal with
It's
it.
literally, I can't
done
do.
it any
What
better.
am I going to
Nailed
do?
it.
What am I going to try and prove to them that my belief is correct and theirs is not?
Yes.
Who says mine is correct?
Yeah.
It's correct for me and it's worked for me. Why would it
But
work
like,
for you?
I've got loads of friends that are really religious, and they don't force that down my
I don't
throat.
care.
No,
So I think I do think it's the people that have raised you. I think it's your situation, the people that you've grown up with, also who you surround yourself with. We're surrounded by very, like, I don't know, just peaceful people.
Yeah, we are.
We always say
surrounded by peaceful
protect our
people.
peace.
Do you think
That's like one of
that's
our
good?
things.
Yeah.
We're just like,
live
if
and
we're
let live.
happy, then
Do you think social media plays a big part to give
Yeah.
people a secret mouth? You know, the ones who wouldn't normally say something, but then they're behind a keyboard putting everything.
yeah,
Yeah.
there is that. But I think that's normally about random fucking shit that they go off. They're like they're just like the trolls, aren't they?
Yeah.
They don't
true.
actually have anything other than like being like, oh, you've got too much makeup on. It's normal. I don't want to say anything, but it is normally white men that are the ones that do it.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
So I don't know. I do think it's who you.
I'm offended by that.
What age?
I don't know.
What age
There's
are
a
we
big group
talking?
of,
Not
like,
don't say
there's
40.
And I'm a troll as well, so
I don't
you're
know.
right.
There's old ones. There's young ones.
Yeah, I think
Incels.
one of the
I'm not on social media enough to make a judgment about trolls or anything. I'm on it somewhat. I noticed on your podcast, one of the things that stood out to me, one of you said, I have to post at least every 2 hours. Who was it? I don't think it was one of you two, it was one of your guests. Do you remember that bit? One of you made it out. They have to upload. They have to post on their social media every few hours or
I think
whatever.
we may have been talking about somebody else because
No.
What did
Weren't we
talk about?
talking about if we don't get a text back within 2 hours?
Oh right.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the rule with that?
What's that about?
Well, you know when you're dating.
Well, Izzy
Oh,
can
we
talk
got
about
it.
this
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I don't care.
you don't care.
No.
Okay, well, dating's hard, guys. It's not fun. And me and my friend, we get really annoyed with men in general when they don't text back.
I just don't get
What, when they
it.
don't text back at all, or is there a time limit?
No,
where-
there is a time limit.
What is it?
If it's longer
2
than a day,
hours.
you're taking the
Oh,
piss.
1 day.
Yeah.
1 day.
Okay,
What
well that is taking the piss, but if it's like 2 hours, like
No, but
it's
I
not-
know that you're on
But
your
see,
phone.
this is the thing. I don't. How do you know?
Because it's fucking posted.
Okay, if it's right,
See,
I agree.
That's a culture. That's an age thing as well. Because
Yeah.
we used to have a phone downstairs near your front door. That was it. That's how old we are.
You have to talk in front
Your
of
mom
Talk-
picks up.
Yeah, and you did.
Can I get
and you're
Luke,
like,
please?
yeah. And you could go weeks without talking to anyone. It was
I used, to
amazing.
I used to drag the cable as far as I could and go behind my sofa and just talk quietly.
like that. Yeah,
Can I just say, I would love that.
yeah, bring that back. I think
would
it's
love
better.
it.
But then if you didn't catch your mate at
fucking
home,
hate it.
you literally had to go on an adventure to go and find them because there's
Yeah,
no
I
phone.
would love
That's
it.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. To
I
be fair,
would
that's fun.
love it.
I'll tell you what wasn't fun is when you're a young lad back in those days and you wanted to go speak to a girl who lived at home with her parents. You had to knock on that front door and speak to the dad.
Yeah.
You had
Straight
to,
away.
that's the only way.
Beat it
Wait,
from
I've
the
got
off.
dads, that's fine.
Just open the door, it's us.
Hi.
Mums though, but meeting your mums would be intimidating for a
Yeah,
kid.
okay,
Oh, my
for
mum's
you know,
just
scarier
parents
than
in
My mum's
general.
any
also scary. Yeah.
father figure in my life. Yeah.
Right, Izzy, do you want to have a...
Oh, go on then.
Also, can I just say, Charlie, why did you write society wrong? Why is it with an...
No,
Oh,
wait,
yes, called him
because
out
I'm
on it.
dyslexic. Let's not.
It says society. So.
that'd be
it's
me.
Tom that wrote that.
Oh,
Oh,
Tom.
Matt, sorry.
Maths, there you
So
go.
your spelling grammar's better than Charlie's and you're from Croatia.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Wow.
Charlie's watching on the CCTV right now, by the way. Charlie.
that's something against dyslexic people. I'm not happy about that.
Yeah, I was
It's
offended.
offensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've shamed him.
Yeah, I'm fucking offended. I get grammar. Do you know what pisses me off the most? Sorry, I'm not even answering the question.
Go for it.
When people that I'm talking to correct my grammar.
Yeah.
Oh, that is annoying.
Oh
That
my
is well
God.
annoying.
But
That is well
boys
annoying.
that I'm like talking to do it to me all the time, and I'm like, right, that's an automatic no.
Do you mean through text or through
text.
speech?
Through text.
Wait.
No,
Through
okay.
text?
Through text, they
Wow.
go. I'm like, oh fucking hell, I hate
That
wow.
is-
Yeah.
That is
Do you think they're trying to be funny, maybe?
then you
though?
don't
They
want
can't
that
be
It's
That's
trying to be
serious.
funny, but I'm like, you fucking understood what I meant. So
Yeah,
let's
it's
just
annoying.
leave
Actually,
it.
that.
it's just not
Yeah.
funny.
And actually, fuck off. Do you know what I mean?
I feel
hate
like
it.
something's happened recently.
Yeah.
About
It
this.
did. It happens to me all the time. And there's just one boy that he knows who he is, and he does it to me all the time.
Oh,
and
there you go, look.
he does it now to piss me off.
Yeah.
No,
Text.
But
watch
we're not
out,
talking
whoever you
anymore.
are.
So you've got to have him to text back really quick. But when he texts back, you don't like it. Is that what we're saying?
It's got to be quick. It's got to be correct. Yeah.
Okay, I'm seeing that. Okay, yeah. I don't
Okay,
think
this
it's-
one says, no opinion required. Who do you think will win next year's general election?
I'm not. We're not in
Who's up
politics.
for it?
Oh, only Joe is, so we've got to pass this over to Joe.
Joe
Yeah.
knows everything.
Well, what's the
Um,
point? If
is
you
it the
were-
red or the
you're
blue
clearly not
team?
interested.
Is it Margaret Thatcher?
I am interested,
I'm
but
not.
I feel like it just took
I
the
think
piss.
I think this is the problem with politics now, anyway, and it's always been. It's boring, right? And the people that do it are involved in it. They're either it's boring. The
Yeah.
people that are
It
doing.
is boring.
Yeah, it's not engaging. So if you're not engaged in it, you're not going to be interested in it. And it's a big part of life. And Joe's going to argue with me because he's engaged by it, but he's boring. No, sorry, go on, because you're
No,
going to engage with it.
I'm a bit of a geek when it comes to like political history. So if you understand the whole story, that makes what's happening currently a bit more interesting.
Okay, go on, then make it interesting then,
No,
please.
I'm probably not interested.
That's a big
Oh,
test.
do you like politics, Mike? Love it. Oh, well, at least there's one person in the room. Who do I think is going to win next year? I think it's really up in the air. I think this is Labour's chance to get in now. It's been the first time. This is the closest they've been to really getting a chance of coming in. Whether that'll be a good thing or not, I doubt it. I'm not really thinking the country's going to be better.
Who's Labour? Keir Starmer?
So Keir Starmer's Labour. So Labour are a left-wing party, Conservatives are a right-wing party. Conservatives win all the time. The reason why they win most is because their voters are generally more devoted. Labour Party have a bigger following, but they don't go out and vote, and that's an actual fact. if you
I've
look
got
at
a
the members.
suggestion for politics.
Oh, go on. For the world of politics. Everyone. Right, Rishi, listen up.
Listen, please. So instead of doing the usual whatever they do, because I don't watch it,
Okay.
have a Britain's Got Talent style
Election.
Election.
Yeah.
They have to do certain things. They've obviously got to do their everyday job of making sure everything's okay. I don't know what they do.
I don't think
make
they
sure,
do.
the,
I don't
make sure
think
the
they
bins
do
are getting
anything.
out. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they don't do that
No.
very well.
They're
But then they've
useless.
also got to
No.
do some form of artistic thing and a poem, and you get to know them all about them, and you vote them in, and they go to a house.
What would
No.
Boris
So like
Johnson's
Miss
poem be?
America.
Oh, sorry, I've got like I shagged the girl behind. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Right,
they
and then
don't
you-
do
and then
anything
everyone-
other
and then
than like
everyone
see their
votes.
secretary.
Yeah, on a Saturday night, everyone votes,
Joe's-
and they've got to dress up.
Joe's loving this idea.
That's an example of everything that's wrong with the way people see politics. I'll tell you why.
Because it's the truth.
I'm going to tell you
though.
why. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why this is the
He's
problem.
angry now. You
I
get
like
Joe
it.
angry with
Listen,
politics.
listen. We are too hell-bent on voting in nice people. We
Yeah.
care
Oh,
about...
I don't want
No,
a
I
nice
want them to be able to
person.
play an instrument
Wait, we
as well.
It's not a popularity
we
contest.
care about the things, their opinions. We care about the fact that Boris Johnson had a fucking glass of wine during lockdown. We care about the comments that we make. Donald Trump wants to build a wall for Mexico, so we've got to fucking hate him. All this
It's
stuff...
quite bad.
Right, listen.
Glass of wine to a big wall.
Listen. The only thing that's bad about that is the perception that the mainstream media is giving you about it. Actually, in America, there is a very fair system for you legally going to America. Like anyone can follow that system. It's the same with Britain. All over the news, people coming over on boats. There's a fair system in Britain. And we're really good at bringing people in this country. We're one of the best out there. But the media want to show that we're terrible and we're dystopian, all this sort of stuff. I think we need to focus less on their personality and what type of person they are, and more on their policy, their economic policy and their social policy. Because
but do you not? Sorry to cut you off, but do you not think if they didn't shag those people, then we could focus on the policies?
Yeah, stop having parties and shagging people, and then we wouldn't have to be having any news.
I think that all human beings, no one's perfect, and everybody makes mistakes and does silly things. Why do we expect the Prime Minister to be this robotic? But I don't care. I'm not saying what he's doing is right.
He had a party through COVID.
What I'm saying to you, okay, let me put it this way. What I'm saying to you is, we have a healthcare system that's completely deteriorating. We have an education system that's completely useless. Overworked teachers, overworked nurses. The military are down to like 170,000 personnel. This country is going downhill, and all we care about is Boris Johnson, a cup of wine in Downing Street. Well, that's all we care about. We care about,
I see your point. There's bigger issues,
We care about them socially far too much. And what I'm saying to you is, whilst the country is literally dive bombing. I mean, if you go into a hospital now and look around, not only are there a shortage of beds and a dirty hospital, but the nurses and they're all overworked. They look
underpaid,
and sad and underpaid, and they're saving people's lives. But what we're talking about on the news is, they had a lockdown party. Bastards. Wait. Why do we care so much
because
about it?
they should have been doing stuff about the NHS while having a party. That's what they should have been doing.
But that's just such a stupid thing to say. They had a party for 2 hours, Luke. Their job is
it wasn't
to
2
build
hours.
the NHS.
No one has a party for 2 hours.
Okay.
That's what. Hey, I'm back to work. No way. No, they didn't. They were on it all week while the NHS were working. That's the problem.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So that's the problem. That's what the NHS is falling apart because they had a party in Downing Street.
And there was a phone ringing about the budget, and there was playing music.
And
they ordered more wine.
And whilst people think like you, we're always going to have shit politicians. Simple as that.
Well, so it's my fault now.
No, you're the example.
I feel like I'm on Luke's side.
Yeah, you're the example. You're the example. But no, I care more about policy and getting shit done. I care more about the children at schools. I care more about people getting cared for in hospital. I care more about our military personnel who are also underpaid and overworked.
But do you not agree with then the people that are in office or people that are trying to be voted in have got a different life to all of us? They're not really bothered by any of those aspects. They're bothered about what they're bothered about.
They're not very nice people. They're all corrupt. The Tory party especially. They're all giving each other brown envelopes and they're all giving each other peers. I'm not saying they're nice people. I'm not saying I support them. What I'm saying to you is we're focused too much on their behaviour and we are not focused enough on policy. And how much do you care about the education policy? How many times have you thought about that in the past 6 months?
Quite a lot.
Why are you lying?
What? You can't ask me that. I have been studying
quite a lot.
At least once a week, I sift through the... and I'll tell you why, and I'm going to surprise you a little bit now. I sift through the PDFs that I get sent on the subject. No, I do. Let me have a minute. So with the educational system, obviously my girls go to school and I've been involved in the school, and the way that they do the curriculum now has changed to the point where you can't understand it as a parent. And the way that they're doing is they're interchanging it every year, right? And they're changing it every 5 years. And the curriculum has moved away from some of the things that is going to get you into real life, into completely different things. So for me, the education system needs changing. But who's the education? Who is in charge of that?
The Department of Education in Whitehall.
And who? What's the...
So an MP will be in charge of the
Who's the
Department
MP?
of Education. I don't know who it is.
You don't know what you're on about.
The Education Secretary. But they change every 6 months.
Oh, they change every 6 months.
Yeah.
Well, then how do you create a job that changes every 6 months and then does it successfully?
Yeah.
Well,
but when you turn the news on tomorrow, you won't hear about any of that. What you will
doesn't matter about what I don't look at the news.
What I'm saying to you is, what you will hear about is how they're all behaving and what parties they're having and all that sort of stuff and how bad they are as people. Great. But they're not going to talk about what you just said.
Agreed. But that's
the problem.
But it's like in COVID, I did get involved in politics during COVID because my mum's got a really bad immune system. So it was quite a big thing in our house to like not go out, basically. And there were so many interviews where I was getting so annoyed because I was just like, just ask a fucking question about what's actually happening. But they were talking about Matt Hancock shagging his. Do you know what I mean?
It's just distraction.
And that's what's
this is
annoying.
exactly what I'm talking about.
But this is why I get annoyed with politics. I'm like, if you didn't do it in the first place, we would be having a conversation about the right thing.
Well, I see what you're saying. What you're saying is they're distracting the real conversations by being
doing it
idiots.
on purpose, 100%.
I know, but it's also like the Harry and Meghan situation. Oh, I don't want attention. You fucking knew that you were going to get attention.
This is the thing. I feel like here in the UK, the royal family is a big distraction behind everything else that's going on.
Yeah, but as well, like it is a big thing.
Lizzie.
Like good old Lizzie. Like people, I don't know. My mum was obsessed with the Queen, and I feel like my grandma.
Do you know
was
the royal
obsessed with
family are
the
the biggest exporters of marijuana in the UK?
Slay.
68% of the world's
That's a fact.
68% of the world's marijuana comes from Britain. You know that?
Yeah.
No,
that's an actual fact.
Slay.
The Queen used to love a
Big up
massive
Liz.
shot.
Probably helped her.
But going back to what you said about they're doing it on purpose, I think that's a really good insight. Like, it's a distraction technique from the real conversations. But if you are, mainstream media that I've got massive issues with, they've got brains. They can. Why are they? Colluding. Why are they colluding and talking about Matt Hancock the whole way through COVID when they could just go, forget about that idiot. We'll report it once. He's had an affair. Let's talk about the fact that he ordered £1 billion worth of PPE and gave it to his mates. All that sort of stuff.
Well, don't you think half of the media is getting? I mean, they're getting bribed by the government.
Oh yeah, they're all involved. It's a corrupt
there you
system,
go.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. I think we had a situation in Serbia, which was quite big because they wanted to get the president to stop being the president. They did this whole drama, blah, blah, blah. And they completely, there was thousands and thousands of people in the square in Belgrade, going mad, throwing shit, setting things on fire.
What, to change president?
To change the president,
right,
because
so
he was
rebelling against
still is a dickhead. So there's, I fully agree.
Is he a dickhead because of policy or is he a dickhead because he has lockdown parties?
He's a dickhead because of politics.
Yeah,
he just does. He does actual
horrible things.
Yeah, he just does absolutely horrible things, and also he just himself is like Trump 2.0.
Right,
It's just, but nobody really, cared about him being Trump 2.0. They care about what he was doing for the country, which was horrible things. Yeah. So basically, half of the news in the Balkans did not at all film anything that was happening in Belgrade. We were completely ignoring it. There was only one outlet, which was N1 News, I think, and they reported everything. Literally, we're on the site every day, watching everything, and that was the only site you can watch all of this that was happening on.
I'm surprised they didn't try and shut that site down.
They didn't, just because it's such a big news outlet in Europe that they literally report everything. But when I mean everything, during COVID, they were reporting everything that was happening, all the bullshit. But all of the other ones were just this has happened and this has happened.
Have we got a version of that?
Of what?
Well, like Verna just said about in Croatia, the media, it's obviously corrupt. Have we got a truthful media? If you was to name...
What about Piers Morgan's one?
Yeah, he's got a new Talk TV on Censored where, I don't know about truth, but at least, at very least, he doesn't censor.
It's not censored, I suppose,
It's allowed everywhere. Obviously, the BBC just edit the shit out of everything.
This is my point.
Just really, drive
just bash BBC after you've been on it.
Joe wasn't invited on for that reason.
Mikey, edit that bit, mate. I wasn't on
Get
it, so
that
I say
out.
what I want.
I feel like it's fair and
But going
honest.
back to the question, I think that it doesn't really matter who wins next. I don't think we're going to see much of a change. I think there'll be some tax differences and lower income people will get a slightly better quality of life.
Not a lot changes either way.
No.
And I think that's why a lot of people
it has
just
done
move
before.
away from
There
it.
has been some. John Major to Tony Blair was a huge change.
Yeah.
But I don't think at the moment where we are as a country, I don't think there's going to be much change at all.
So politics is boring.
Yeah.
Well, boring.
All agreed.
Yeah.
Boring.
Next question. Sorry, Joe. That was me.
Why apologise to me? I didn't ask the question.
No, but I know you
Oh,
love
because I like
politics.
politics.
Yeah.
I love politics.
It's your favourite.
Do you actually like it?
Yeah, not like what they do.
Look how disgusted
like
you
it.
was. You really had it when you're talking about Marvel.
I
And you
like
just ruined
global.
it.
I like it globally. I like global
Okay.
politics.
It's not
Yeah,
got
I
a lot.
don't really care about what Labour do and what Conservatives do.
got a lot
But
of
yeah, I do like it. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Bit of a geek.
Putin? Question mark.
Sorry?
What do you think, Putin? Newborn Hitler.
What do I think about
He is
Putin?
Hitler. He is Hitler.
The reality is, I can't. Obviously, he's killing innocent people, so that automatically puts him in the evil box. So he's obviously a horrible person, isn't he? But I can't. My knowledge on Putin is only from what I've seen on the news. We have no other knowledge of Vladimir Putin. None of us do.
Wait, what? Really?
Well, it's only the news, isn't it? I mean, I've watched our news. How much
biased
what
news.
I'm saying is we just talked about how biased the news is. So I can't feel like I can give a real understanding. What I do know is he's ex-Soviet. He's trying his best to hold on to that. He wants to keep Russia as a sovereign nation. He doesn't want to move into Western culture, and he's desperate to keep the Eastern European nations backwards. He wants to prevent Eastern European nations from developing forward and becoming more westernized. But I don't really know much more. And what I do know is that in 2014, the guy that was the Ukrainian president then, there was a coup at that point because he was also evil, and between them they killed a lot of innocent Ukrainian people.
They did, yeah.
But there are some also accusations of what's the guy's? Is it Zelensky, the guy now?
Yes.
There's a lot of accusations against him as well. So the Russians are. This is some people are accusing him of doing the same thing almost. I don't really know enough about Putin. Anyone that sends tanks and planes to another country and bombs innocent people are just plain evil. And he's been in power for 20 years. I mean,
they're never going to change him.
No.
Like, it's constantly like,
It's a
oh, we're all
dictatorship,
against him, we hate him, but then next year he gets elected
but
again.
they're not
So
though.
it's
If
kinda
they're
like-
not though, this is what we're being told. Actually, the younger generation, people in Russia your age, hate him. Old Russians adore him and love him because they're
but
Soviets.
I know, but
by
those
heart.
old Russians then raise children in that type of environment,
Exactly.
and they love it. So, like, kids
Exactly.
our age, people
There'll
our
be some.
age.
There'll be some.
Yeah, there
There'll be
will
some.
be. I mean,
But
in Russia, there's a big majority of like people our age that just love him, adore him.
Yeah, I mean, you'll know more than me. I mean, I like I said, I only know what the biased news. I used to watch a little bit of RT to try and get their version, but they banned RT now, which also tells us that our side's being biased and not letting us see Russian news.
Yeah.
So I can't trust the narrative about Putin. I can only make my own judgment based on what he's doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's evil. He's
That was a
horrible.
really good answer, Joe.
Was it?
Yeah.
Straight off the bat.
Yeah.
Go on then, Luke.
Okay.
Why did you take a deep breath and look at me?
He was annoyed that you took his spot as well.
Yeah, A, you talked over my question, and B, you're going to answer this one, so I'll do it. If you became Prime Minister tomorrow, what 3 things would you change immediately? Mine would be my car, my hairstyle, and the number 10
My suit.
front door. So shall I answer it? Shall I
Yeah, of course you can, yeah.
Okay. Well, we spoke about it. I think the NHS needs restructuring immediately. I think obviously I don't know how I'm going to do that. So immediately I'll have to have a bit of thinking about that. But I think the way that it is at the minute, I think it's in dire straits, and I think they're letting it happen. And I think privatisation coming in, GPs, we all know my feeling on GPs. When I went to the doctors, he annoyed me. So yeah, that's one of the
Ask
things.
him why the doctor annoyed you.
Oh yeah, well, you've not been watching our podcast.
Sorry.
I went to GP to. I don't really go to the doctors because they don't give me the care that I used to have as a child. When you used to go to the doctors as a child, my age.
There's 2 very confused faces.
Imagine walking into the
Okay.
doctor's surgery. Yeah,
What, and you get like a
pre-COVID.
sticker?
You would get a sticker.
Look, you're on the lap right now.
I
There was a
love-
wooden train set that could put you at ease.
What do you want now? Stressful.
Anything like that. Anything. that
Do you
isn't-
remember wooden train sets and doctors?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. No, you don't.
I didn't have
We
that.
had them in Croatia.
Yeah, you had
Oh,
it.
there you go. So,
I had
do they
them-
still have them now? 'Cause if not, we'll move forward. Oh, okay.
He wants
Well,
to
that's
Yeah,
source
if you go
one.
to a kid's GP, whatever
Yeah,
they're called.
well,
it's
either way, but
pediatrician.
I feel like that's how I want to be treated. So, bit of a train set before you go in. Relax, look at some nice pictures, maybe thousands of magazines that everyone's read and they've got nothing in them, but you read that and you get your name called out and you go in. Anyway, this time it was all cold, really, really. Not a lot there. I didn't feel very at ease. And I walked through the door and I was greeted by quite a tall gentleman who had a bit of perspiration on his head. And prior to this, I'd got I booked an appointment at 3:00 and then he put it back again and put it back again. And I was a bit annoyed by that, and then I came back in. Anyway, I was going to let that go. I was like, "No train set," and you've put me off a little bit. I still give him a chance. I walked in.
I don't know where this is going.
Well,
Yeah,
the
do you know what?
guy.
I wish I'd never asked him to tell you.
It's not the most interesting story. I think we cut it out.
At least
he
get to
quite,
the point
he
for
quite
him.
obviously had been for a jog. He was talking to me, and instead of he put me off my appointment, and he'd been for a run, and he'd been doing other things, and he was in his tracksuit. And I asked him if he'd been for a jog, and he said no, but I could see his watch, and it had his best 10K time on it. So that just I asked him what was wrong with me. I just didn't believe him because his care and his bedside manner was terrible. So I would change that. Train sets.
Can I just say something? I thought you were going to say a serious story.
I know.
No,
He was jealous. He was
that it?
That's my
He
reason.
was jealous because the guy went for a jog and made him wait 10 minutes.
And
An hour and a half.
There was
An
no
hour and a
wooden
half.
train.
An hour and a half.
Okay.
But there's no train. That's it. And that's all I'd change. It's slight changes, but it will help society in the end.
Prime Minister.
That's probably why I'm not going to become Prime Minister. Although I would win. I don't think I'd change anything else. No, not really. I'll pass it on. What would you do?
3 things that I would change immediately.
Straight away, as soon as you're in.
It's a really tough one, you know. Obviously, the NHS needs addressing the pay.
I've changed
the
that already.
structure. I know, but I'm allowed to have the same. NHS. Jesus, the education system needs updating.
Should we just pass that over to Joe?
Yeah,
Joe, could you just
answer it for us, mate?
answer that?
You need to answer it first.
Yes, yeah. Let's see what the girls are saying.
What do you change?
It's
a tough one.
I'd be fucked if we were Prime Minister.
So my car here.
I would change. I'm honestly
I'd
gonna
give
say,
students their money back.
Oh,
COVID.
yeah.
Is a big one.
$9,000 for what?
I was sat at home.
For what?
What
What do you
sorry.
mean give it
What
them
do you mean?
back?
They had to go study from home, didn't you?
Yeah,
But they
so
still
the
paid the full fees.
So
Oh,
our
really?
first year, the whole of COVID,
We had
the first
online
didn't know that.
lectures.
we
yeah.
had it online.
It's just robbery, isn't it? Just daylight.
Wow.
It's
robbery.
daylight
So it's
robbery.
basically-
we
so
paid nine
Yeah,
and a half grand.
Like your
Yeah.
teachers were at home, I take it,
Yeah,
on Zoom
yeah, yeah.
calls.
Yeah.
So it was all Zoom calls.
That puts my train set problem in perspective, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I would be
So-
frustrated.
Yeah.
It was literally just, mind you, it's also a creative course. It's
Yeah.
not like, this is the book, here you go,
Yeah.
and you study medicine and just study all
Like we
of
were having to
this.
do photo shoots in our room.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was photo shoots in our room, and then I remember it was like workshops, and they would be like, "Oh, you have to draw this," and then you draw
Yeah.
it, take a picture of it, send it in the
That's
Fucking
Teams chat.
stupid. I
You
didn't
had
learn
to pay for
anything
the
that
So
pleasure.
day.
and we had to pay for
Then you
$9
have to pay
grand for that.
So you basically got robbed of that
did
part
get
of
robbed.
education.
We
Yeah.
did
Yeah.
get robbed.
So
I
that's
think our
one thing
first
I
year,
would
and then
change.
like
Yeah,
we
good
now
change.
now that we finished third year, we're all like, wow, this last year is actually proper
Yeah, it's been really
university
good, hasn't it?
experience, because the first 2 years were like nothing. Like we didn't even meet each other. I came here, I did not know anyone.
Mm.
I was in my
It's the
own
same for
house with my
everyone.
roommate. That was it. I did not know anyone.
Was your English already this good before you came?
Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
Thank you.
It is, though, isn't it? So you've
Yeah.
been here 3 years. Really impressive.
Thank you.
Especially the slang. What
I mean,
Spider-Man?
I've got mates who
What-
can't speak English like
Yeah.
you.
Just tell us what Spider-Man is again in slang.
Pussy.
Nice work.
I could do it better, but I won't. It's
No,
fine.
that was good.
I don't know what else I'd change.
I would change the educational
Oh,
educational
I know what I'd
system.
change.
What?
Not the death penalty, but like when people are ill, I
Yeah.
think they should have the right
Oh,
to
Oh,
end
use
their
to
life.
end
their
Yeah.
life, yeah.
Sorry,
Nature.
I was gonna say it really mean, but pull the plug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would add that in.
Yeah.
I think
but
if you look at
I think-
countries that are really liberal, their success rate is
When
Yeah.
you think about, like, let's use an example of a really, really famous example, Schumacher. What happened to him? He got in that ski accident,
Yeah.
and then he was
He's all right
on-
now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
alright. But imagine if he wasn't, and all of his family just kept him on machines for the rest
you
of
can't
his
legally
life.
kill him.
Yeah.
You
No, you
can't.
can't.
You can't. I'm not saying. You
Well,
can't do it.
I
But
watched the thing in America, and they keep the family members. They've got, because obviously they get paid through they keep them alive. And
Yeah.
I watched there was a guy who was obviously a dad, and he had his family around, and they would not let him go. And I think it was 5 or 6 years he was there.
I
So
think that's selfish.
crazy.
I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie. I think that's very selfish.
But
when do that to a
if they're in
person.
a coma, how can you override? They're not making a decision, are they? Because they can't tell
Well,
you.
I think there should be like a point in your life where you can sign a contract and say that
Yeah.
if that's happened,
Oh, yeah,
you
that would
give
make
the,
sense.
the permission to do it.
The grey. I understand what you're saying, and I
Mm.
agree to a certain extent. But again, there's another grey area. What if you're poorly and you get dementia? And at what stage do you go? I want to kill myself. Is that dementia or is that them?
I
Do you
don't know.
what
I
mean?
think if you've got a
Mm.
terminal illness, you should be able to
Yeah.
end.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes
Your
sense.
suffering.
Just
Yeah.
because I feel like even though you're in a coma, your body is going through
I think
stuff.
coma's different. I think like my grandma had stage 4 cancer. I think if you're suffering and you know it's going to end
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
death, then I think you should be allowed
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
I just
Have
don't
your own
understand
choice.
why anybody thinks they can tell me I can't do that to myself.
Yeah.
It's my life. I don't really, you know what I mean? Like, there's actually a law in place. It's illegal to commit suicide, isn't it? It's an actual law.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is really hard to enforce.
But I think
I was
that
gonna
comes
say,
from religion, though. I'm not sure, but I think, you know, like if you kill yourself in Christianity.
Yeah, maybe it stems from that, actually.
I think it might
From
stem
religious
from
society,
that.
As most things do.
There's a lot,
A lot of
things
things
do.
do stem from Christianity.
Yeah, definitely. Next question.
I'll go. Let's have a look. Okay. Is climate change an issue, and is enough being done to stop it, or is it just stop oil for a good cause?
No, we're gonna die.
Yeah,
we're dying.
We are.
I actually became a vegetarian because of it.
Really?
Initially,
Oh, because of climate change.
it was initially because of
I
that,
did not.
and I just
Greta Thunberg, good for you.
Thank you. No, I actually just hate meat. But I come from big steak eaters, so it's probably not made a difference to the amount of steak that everyone eats in my family. I think it's a huge problem. I think instead of spending fucking, I don't know, millions on going to Mars and all that planet, they add so much pollution to what we're doing, trying to find somewhere to live. Just protect what you've got. I think it's so easy to fix some of the problems. Like if you look at COVID, when everyone stopped moving for like less than a year, nature came back, and that was amazing to see. So I don't know. I think it could easily be sorted, and
yeah, it can be easily.
So I'll be honest, I don't know enough about it because I've heard it's fake. There's no evidence to prove it, but then I've also heard
we're sweating through town.
Where do you get your source
England.
from then? You know, like with regards to climate change,
everyday life.
Yeah, everyday life.
No, but news outlets. Where do you get your facts and your evidence, or is it literally just looking around and you've seen it for yourself?
It's a mix of both.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, like even Greta Thunberg, but there are people like scientists, like genuinely I've read things, and I think there's been films done, like even Sea World, was it Sea Life? The one on Netflix, that was horrific.
Oh, I've seen
like
that, yeah.
Cowspiracy and all those films that came out about meat
Have you
industry
seen
and
Before the
stuff.
Flood, that Leonardo DiCaprio one? That's amazing.
No.
That's a really good one on National Geographic.
Isn't there? What was that movie with Jennifer? Oh, Don't Look Up. Is
Yeah,
that
Don't
about
Look Up.
climate
that was
change?
amazing. I love that.
That was
That
a good
was just
film.
a big.
That was good.
fuck
It was a piss
you.
take. It was a
It
big
was
take,
it was a
wasn't
It was a
piss
piss
take
take,
about
as it should be.
climate activists,
Yeah.
but basically, saying.
I
what
mean,
just
to be
said.
fair, I feel like I'm not gonna lie. I feel like nothing is being done about the climate change.
nothing.
Because we're all being greenwashed.
Climate activists are fucking going around in private jets. Prince Harry goes around in a
what
private
I'm gonna
jet.
say, climate activists are doing dumb shit.
No,
I'm
but
not gonna lie.
I
They
don't
are
mean climate,
right.
No, but I don't mean climate activists like the ones that are throwing paint on shit.
Yeah, see, I
mean
don't understand
climate
that.
activists that are in control of saving the climate. Like,
Yeah.
So don't
Prince
that make
Charles
you
and-
feel it's a bit of a scam then? If they're
No,
doing it
makes,
and they're
it just
promoting
makes me
it. It is
think
scam.
I don't think it's a scam. I just think
Maybe say something
fuck all's
controversial
being
now.
done for it.
And you've been waiting for it. I've seen you. You've been waiting patiently. It's fake.
I've been convinced by the whole climate thing for years. So
Yeah.
I'm like, the climate, it's, this is a really bad thing that's happening. And when you look at the science that's being published, it's pretty bad. Like, we're heading for disaster. I think the whole Mars thing, though, we're not going to Mars. It's
No.
Elon Musk It's his own money. He wants to fly to Mars.
Take over the world.
Let him
Let
crack
him.
on. He's also contributing to the climate, though, because he's the first person to not just develop an electric car, but he's made it. He's domestic. It's now a domestic thing to have an electric car, and that's all
But
because
even
of
with
him.
that, it's like you can't win. I don't
Well, they're getting the
think.
can't
lithium.
win.
They're getting the
Electric-
lithium for the
lithium
batteries.
batteries.
That's what I
It's
mean.
terrible.
Carbon footprint.
So it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah, but also how they get the lithium is disgusting.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of like you
So-
can't really win.
No.
Where I'm really starting to question this is based on the back of what you've just said. Why aren't we doing anything about it then, if it's that bad? And why are climate activists going around in private jets? Because you're all right. This is
yeah.
It's too far
this
to
is a
walk.
so-called climate crisis. A so-called climate crisis.
It'll take ages walking.
They won't get round anywhere.
Swim as well. Some
No one would ever
places.
hear about it. Like, where's that guy coming? He's on the 3 weeks ago.
There's a climate crisis apparently, and if it goes up by more than 1.5 degrees more, we're still investing in places that are high risk of being flooded. We're still ploughing money into places that are going to be flooded apparently in the next 10 years.
Australia had the coldest May as well.
Yeah,
Australia.
Yeah.
I think if you look at
saw
nature,
that.
you can physically see it.
It depends
Like-
on what you're comparing that nature to, because interestingly, the climate activists choose a particular point in time in which is quite cold, and when you measure as now compared to that, yes, we're getting warmer. If you go back 10,000 years, we haven't actually got that much warmer from then. So for me, I'm starting to question what's going on.
Yeah.
Because on one hand, we've got a huge crisis. On the other hand, we're not doing anything about it.
Well, don't you think people never do anything about anything?
No, right. So
When you think about, when it comes to the fact of like when that thing with Greta Thunberg was happening and that was in the media and she was tweeting at Trump at whatever was happening, everybody was like, oh my God, let's all be like Greta Thunberg, do this, blah, blah, blah. How fast did that end?
Yeah.
Really fast.
Yeah.
Same thing about war in Ukraine.
War.
Well, let's help. Let's now. Who even talks about it? It's still
problems
happening.
Of pop culture, aren't they?
Yeah.
They come in and then they go.
They
as
come in and
quickly
then
as-
they go.
I drove to the border with aid and with a load of people and delivered this aid to them. And we spent a few hours with all the people there on the Ukrainian border.
Yeah.
Brilliant experience. Loads of people were doing it. You're right. After 2 months, back to normal life.
Does
Just want to
anybody-
say I've been a vegetarian for 4 years now.
What do you eat? Do you eat things like almonds? Do you eat things like avocado?
I'm not a vegan.
That's all bad shit though for the climate, isn't it? There's a lot of bad shit. It's not just meat.
Yeah.
Avocados and almonds, and they have to come from California and be flown over.
Yeah,
and,
it's mental.
There's a massive
Yeah.
footprint in that. I mean, I think if you probably just got to eat cardboard and then live in a house.
Yeah, I'd pretty much just eat
with-
pasta.
Yeah, just eat pasta and then we're all good, aren't we?
Yeah, but when you think about stuff like the clothes that you wear, also they've been created in factories that are not doing good. So like,
We're
what
all
are we-
walking hypocrites, aren't we?
So what are we
You're so
not?
right.
Are,
You're
are we
so
not
right.
allowed to? It's the same thing as like here's
Well,
here's what
we
I'm
know
gonna
the fashion
say.
industry is fucking
Yeah,
the
well, the
planet.
fashion industry is absolutely horrible,
Yeah.
and I am gonna say like I'm completely a type of person that goes secondhand shopping.
Mhm.
But then again, you buy it on Depop, and then it goes in a car that has
Yeah,
gas in
yeah.
it,
I
and then
don't-
Yeah,
it gets
we're
to you, and
stuck.
it's just
I think the way that we're living, we couldn't
no, we
try
couldn't
and
no.
be sustainable.
No, we couldn't. You can't be
I think we're past
100%.
that
There is
point.
I
absolutely
agree.
no way that you can be 100% sustainable. If you were 100% sustainable, you would live on a beach, not in clothing or nothing, and
Yeah.
live off of air and water.
You live off the land,
Yeah.
basically.
Do you guys
can't
know-
live in the woods.
Do you guys
Yeah.
know what the ozone layer is?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fixed.
Is it really?
I learned that the
Because
other
we
day.
stopped
What are you
spraying.
Spraying hairspray. Yeah, the ozone layer.
Oh, I thought you meant it's fixed as in like it's
fake.
fake.
Oh, well, it could have been.
No, it's not.
It's not fake.
Everything's fake, by the way. You just
We're like,
we live
we're
in
like
a
the Truman Show.
simulation.
Just
yeah, exactly.
living in this simulation.
We're in a simulation, everything's
We
fake,
are.
and we're all just arguing about the same things, and the world's going to blow up. And really, you
Yeah.
should just enjoy
Well, that's the end
that.
of that podcast then.
See ya.
Bye.
Even this
Done.
is fake.
Yeah, so I think I'm starting to question the whole climate. I'm starting to get a little bit suspicious.
Well, like, why
as to
aren't
why
people
we
scared?
aren't urgently doing
Yeah.
something?
Well, they are. They're going to Mars. I've told you this
majorly
before.
about
That's
it.
why they're going to
Oh,
Mars.
thanks, Lee.
They're going to Mars, and we'll all be stuck
They're
down
not
here.
going to
Yeah.
Mars. Elon Musk is just one guy who's started a space program to Mars.
And how many seats?
NASA's done so many programs.
No, they have. But what I'm saying is he's the one that's made that happen. No, he started SpaceX on the back of the fact that they wasn't going to Mars. So he
Yeah.
was like, "What are you all doing?" And I'm now a billionaire, so come on, let's work together. Let's go to Mars. But I still think that we need to go to Mars, though, even if we do try and fix the planet, because one day this
Why?
planet's going to be dead.
Are you-
and we need to
Have
work
you
together.
seen fucking aliens? Why do we need to go up? Like, I don't get it. I have a genuine fear of space. Like,
What?
please just
Nah.
stay on this
Most
planet.
people have got a genuine fear of space. I think if you're in it, if you're actually in space, it's probably scary.
Yeah.
Even astronauts are
Yeah.
probably slightly scared
Yeah.
on a rocket all the way up there.
Man.
Well,
yeah.
everything that's unknown is scary.
Yeah.
No, but
it's the unknown.
if an alien came up to you, you're going to be happy.
And
No.
there aren't any aliens.
You'll
up
be
there.
like, yo,
There's
bro.
human. There's not human life.
Do you
but
believe in
there's a
aliens?
life. Oh, there's something in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
you
Well,
cannot
what I'm
tell
saying,
me.
they're not
Have you
on
ever?
Mars.
No, but have you ever watched those like documentaries? I'm going to sound like a fucking.
No,
weirdo
brilliant,
saying
bring it
this.
on.
Yeah,
I've probably watched it.
Have you ever seen those documentaries where it's like the Egypt and like the pyramids were built by
Yeah,
aliens?
there was built by
Yeah.
aliens.
It was.
Genuinely, how did they do it?
No, I think
Nobody
it was.
knows still today.
I genuinely think
I
it
don't
probably
know.
was something like that.
Well,
a
see,
more
this is the
intelligent race,
Yeah,
I think,
yeah.
wasn't it?
Yeah, I think there's. I don't know.
I
There's so
don't-
many things that. Do you know what? If I was president or prime minister, I would look in files. I'd find all the shit.
Yeah,
out.
you spend a few
yeah.
weeks
Yeah.
wouldn't you, just going
I'd
through.
run-
You get
I'd be-
I would
assassinated.
go into the
Access
White
to Area
House and just
51.
Then you get shot.
go through all the files.
There's shit that we
But
don't
I
know
genuinely
about.
think I believe in aliens. I don't
Oh,
believe
yeah.
that in the whole universe and all
Yeah.
of the galaxies,
The
we
speck.
are the only human being.
Can't be true. Yeah,
Can't be true.
No,
You cannot tell
statistically,
me.
mathematically, that can't be true.
No.
Like the chances
No way.
are that there's
No
a lot
way.
of them.
Some
problem is they
aliens
can't-
are here already, though.
It doesn't matter. The question of if they're in the universe is irrelevant because it's just whether they're here in this galaxy. Because if they're in another galaxy, then they would never be able to get to us anyway. The question is like, how close are they, and can we get to them?
They're here. They live
They
among us.
live among us, apparently.
I feel like they do.
I think so too.
Yeah.
They've been seen going under the
They
sea
could.
and coming back out, haven't they?
Yeah, on
Marine
YouTube,
ships. Yeah.
which is a credible source.
TikTok.
Do you know how many people get their information off YouTube?
I
these
thought
days?
you bought that story though.
What's
that? Them spherical shaped ships that just fly
The
in
ones
and
on
out.
that
Yeah, he's
HMS.
always going on. But he contradicts himself.
No, wait,
So
wait.
he's a-
You want about the USS Nimitz?
Yeah,
That video? Yeah, that's well convincing.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But then you just said you want, like, you said it was
No, I'm
YouTube.
just taking
video.
this out of YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Just taking this out
Well,
of
you
people
know,
on YouTube.
you
Don't do
know,
that, we're on
YouTube is
YouTube.
actually like the #1 educating platform.
I know.
Oh, is that a fact?
Yeah.
Shame. I know exactly what I'm saying. Number one,
Yeah.
because that's where most people go.
It's the same thing as like people don't go on Google and research things anymore. They go on TikTok.
Right.
So you don't like
True.
yeah. So when you're researching, it's our generation does that. So
I
like
do
for
it.
example, if
That's
you want to,
worrying.
yeah, it is very
Listen,
worrying. To be fair,
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. When that thing happened
It's
in
not-
Nottingham yesterday, I went on TikTok before I went on Google.
Oh, wow.
It's
Yeah, I
bad.
did,
Do you know the stat about TikTok though, and how different it is to China and
Yeah,
the algorithms
yeah,
of what they
yeah.
get seen and what
Yeah.
we get shown? That's scary, isn't it? That's worrying.
But also like,
But the thing is, I think
what
it's
we
because it's different people's aspects. Like, it's not just this is one thing. There's like, you can go through and you'll find different
yeah.
like opinions on each thing, and you can be like, okay,
Yeah,
I'm
but like
feeling like-
algorithms are built in a sense of like what you see is not the same what I'll see.
Yeah,
So like,
I know,
I
yeah.
think that's the
We'll
scary
get-
thing about algorithms.
it is very-
though, as
it
well.
is
so
very
everyone's going to be
scary.
taught differently, is my
Yeah.
point,
Yeah.
and not
And your own
probably
opinion.
correctly
well, if you
either.
went on TikTok now, we'd all have different things on our for
yeah,
you.
but,
Exactly,
well,
yeah.
with the two of us, maybe not.
Does anybody read books anymore? Is it all just online now?
No, I
read
read
books,
loads of
yeah.
books.
Yeah, you read-
I'm
yeah.
a big
Yeah,
book
read
nerd,
books,
but
yeah.
they're not like factual books.
Yeah.
Bit
True.
fit.
But reading's
fantasies.
reading. I think reading as a habit is a good thing. I think.
Yeah.
But as a
Thank
source
you
of
for reading.
education, though, on what I'm saying, that is
Oh no, I don't think people do it
Yeah,
anymore.
no one do really do that, does that?
No,
anymore?
you
It's
wouldn't have
all
a
TikTok.
library, would you?
No.
You know.
They sort of 15-second videos, and that's
No.
rather than
Yeah.
sitting and read
Well,
the
you
book.
need to,
It's more
like-
convenient,
It's
isn't it?
easier and it's
easier,
more
yeah.
engaging,
Yeah.
especially
more-
for
yeah.
someone that's dyslexic.
But it's also like
Dopamine hit.
yeah, but also like we have what is it like our generation has a 2-minute attention
Yeah.
span.
Yeah.
But like goldfish.
So like you can't yeah literally like goldfish. So you can't really
yeah,
go and read a book because you won't be able to.
yeah,
pay
because you won't be able to
attention.
hold the attention to it. I was at this talk and they were talking about podcasts, and the average podcast listen time used to be 60 minutes.
Mm.
And then once TikTok came out, it dropped it down to 38 minutes because TikTok and then Instagram, who then followed with their reels, has literally brought everyone's attention spans down.
Oh, it's like
Yeah.
dumbing everyone
But
down.
I
I mean,
isn't
like,
that's
it?
just
but
how
I
though.
like when podcasts are longer.
I like
I
it.
do. I
sit
like
and
a long
listen.
podcast.
Yeah, I
Mhm,
listen
I
to it in
like
the
it.
shower.
But also there's this I saw a video of this mom that said that she doesn't let her kid watch like Paw Patrol because it lasts for like what is it like maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So she said so much stuff happens in 5 minutes that one day when my kid goes to school, I let them watch like long animated movies because she said if they go to school, they think that all the education, especially Paw Patrol because they educate kids,
Yeah.
it's all going to happen to them in 5 minutes. So they're going to expect everything in school to happen in 5 minutes, and then they're going to be
Yeah, the
bored for the
attention
rest of the 8 hours that they're there.
That's pretty genius. I like that.
Which
yeah.
is which
good
is a
bit of
really good
training, that,
idea.
isn't it?
To be
Yeah.
fair.
Our cartoons were long, weren't they?
Yeah.
What?
When we were
When
younger.
we were younger,
cartoons
yeah,
were
they
long
were.
too.
Half
yeah.
an hour
Yeah.
at least.
Everything was
Yeah.
half an hour.
It
Yeah.
had a bit of
Yeah.
substance to it, didn't it? An
Yeah.
episode. you
Even
know?
Transformers had a message.
Scooby Doo.
Yeah.
Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo, yeah.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
my
Tran-
shit growing
yes.
up.
Always had a message.
But they last at least like what 20 minutes. But
Yeah.
now when you think about it, I remember when the new Avatar came out on TikTok, all I
that
saw was
so
like
good.
3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, mate, what's the problem?
Yeah, but that
I don't
was-
understand.
2.5 hours too long.
No.
Yeah.
That was fucking shit.
No, it was good. You
Did you
can't
not
know.
like
It was
it?
I am
I thought it was
so
good.
offended by
It was
that.
Oh,
I thought it was good.
It was
yeah.
good.
I've seen the first one. I've never seen.
I think it's
The
going to
second
be
one,
the
it's
best
on Disney Plus, you can watch
franchise
it.
Yeah, it's
ever.
good.
It's good.
Is
It's
it good?
good.
I've
You-
not
It's
seen
I think
it.
you'd like it, Joe.
Yeah,
Do you
it's
reckon?
good.
Yeah, I think so.
But it's like people were just like 3 hours. Yeah, that's normal
But I think
for like
a, lot
a
of
movie
people
from
are,
the
but
2000s.
So many people I know are now diagnosed with ADHD and they genuinely cannot sit through a
Oh
film.
my god, we have a friend,
Yeah.
Holly. So they still haven't told her that she has ADHD, but we
She's definitely
genuinely
got
I
think that
think she
she's
knows
got
now.
it.
I'm about to say.
Honestly, it was
Sorry,
it's
Holly.
horrible. Like
Just found out.
there's literally moments where we sit down and you can see her doze off. But
Yeah.
it literally happens to like I'm trying to say like what happened to me over the week, and I'm just saying it, and then she turns out she's like, "What'd you say?"
Yeah.
That's what I'm
I
like.
just
when
had, like, a
Joe tries
half an
to
hour
set tasks for the
talk.
podcast. Maybe I've got that.
Well, no,
Do you
my
feel like
friend
attention span's
literally
pretty-
said to me that he couldn't come
pretty
to the
short?
cinema because he's got ADHD.
Because I watch
Yeah.
Paw Patrol all the time.
Yeah. That's what it is, mate, yeah.
Constantly.
Yeah.
That's where I
Whose
get all
turn
my-
is it on the questions?
Yeah,
You ain't got
yours.
one, Joe.
Yours, Joe.
Is it mine?
I think you're the last one to do one, to be fair.
There's loads in here.
I quite like these questions.
Yeah, I do as well.
Good.
Charlie did them. Thanks, Charlie.
Yeah, shout out to
Charlie. Who's listening.
Spoke about this a little bit. Do you feel that gender equality in the past 10 years? Do you feel gender equality in the past 10 years? If so, how? If
Do you
not,
feel
why?
it?
I feel
What's
it.
he say? What?
Get a new one.
Get another one.
Just as we said, he was very good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you fucked that,
Rubbish, Charlie.
Jinxed it.
Should Trump be allowed to run for president again?
No.
Oh, straight
Wow,
away.
So quick.
And that's
That
the end
guy
of the
should be
podcast.
in
Thank
prison,
you.
yeah.
No,
He should be in prison.
he should.
His hair should.
Everything should. The fake
Just getting his hair in a
Yeah.
different cell.
Why do you think he should be in prison?
Well, for one, he's a rapist, isn't he?
He is a rapist. Yeah.
Is that
Is
an
he a
ongoing
rapist?
case at the minute? Or
Yeah.
did he pay him off? Is that how it worked, or is it still going on?
I think he paid her off. To be fair,
Right.
so I
Okay.
don't think it's going on anymore.
I don't know. I think if you're best friends with Jeffrey Epstein, then there's something going on, isn't there?
Yeah.
A lot of people were though, weren't they?
Well,
A lot of
talk
people.
about our guy, can we?
What?
The Queen's son.
Prince Andrew?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Definitely talk about him.
Yeah, 100%.
Nonce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
20 million pounds. See you later.
What's happened to him? Nothing.
Well, that's what I
Pay
mean.
off, yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like
bullshit.
nothing ever happens to people like that. To be fair.
Oh, money will get you out of all of those problems. That's the thing. And then the
Nothing
media
happens.
just
I think
crowd
if
it.
Trump shouldn't be able to be allowed. I think there's a lot of them over there that shouldn't be allowed. I think Trump's being outlined for all the bad shit that he does. And we've spoken about Trump before. In my opinion, I think he's an absolute cock. However, economically, his policy, America hadn't thrived economically as much as it had under Trump. That has to be acknowledged. Like, people who are poor started to be able to eat because he's a businessman, a very shrewd businessman, and he caused a lot of damage by the way he behaved, but economically he was better. But these are laughing now because I can't stand Joe Biden, who's the president. He's a full-on paedophile, and it's completely being ignored. I'm not bothered. He is. Like, I just don't get why we're not talking about it though. I mean, he's on video touching children up and sniffing women's hairs and being perverted. And we played a video on our last podcast where he's in a crowd and he talks about courting a 12-year-old girl when he's 30, and the crowd are clapping and cheering him
Yeah, it's weird.
publicly. Have you seen that before?
I've not seen anything.
No.
Isn't that
about him.
interesting that you haven't seen that?
Algorithms.
Wow.
Yeah.
You haven't
I've
seen
seen
that.
him
But
that
you've
he's
seen
got
lots of
dementia
Trump, but you've
and
seen,
shit.
but you've seen all the dodgy Trump videos of him
Yeah.
being grabbed by the pussy and all this stuff that he says. You know,
Has he got dementia?
I think it's pretty clear. He's got
Yeah.
dementia.
Yeah, but that's a
I
big
don't
job
know,
to
he
have
can't
with
even walk
dementia, isn't
straight.
it?
No.
Which also raises
Did you make
questions.
sure you not press that button today? Yeah, I didn't press it. No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Left the
just think there's
door
a lot of-
open.
I think I'm confused about the Trump hysteria.
Yeah. You missed
when
out
we're
as well. A good point.
ignoring all the other bad shit that other people are doing.
Yeah,
Like Prince Andrew. What's happened to him? He's back in the royal family? Is he sound?
Yeah.
Don't forget as well, Trump was like one of the only presidents who didn't go to war while he was in power.
Only
That's a
American
really
president to war
big
since World War II.
fact.
They're not
Nice.
convinced. Look at those
Peace with-
videos. Like, no,
peace with
still a bit.
Peace with North Korea.
Yeah.
Yeah, but going
Putin
and
didn't dare
being
do
best
fuck-
friends with Putin
Sorry?
probably not a
Yeah.
good move.
When he stopped Putin from Putin wanted to invade Ukraine during the Trump presidency, and Putin's come out and said it himself. He just waited for Trump to go.
Yeah.
He would never have done it with Trump because he knows Trump's a nutter and he will also go to war with him. He was like, "Well, I'll wait for him to go. When Sleepy Joe gets in, we'll invade
Sleepy Joe.
Ukraine. We'll invade Ukraine."
And
then."
he just keeps remembering to stop it, but he just keeps forgetting. So I've got to do something today. Is it war?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
just eat my porridge.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like politics, I just
Yeah,
don't care.
yeah.
But I think it's because you can put an argument against all of them being
yeah,
arseholes.
they're all
That's the problem.
twats.
Yeah,
They're all
basically.
twats.
Yeah.
like cover up.
So they-
Like,
so
what-
they-
Agreed.
Every angle you go down, you get dismayed by the fact that every
Yeah.
one of them are
There's
wankers,
all drama
rapists.
to it.
Yeah.
It's
And
just
nothing
like
is
you-
ever going to happen to them.
I, as a 23-year-old, I'm not going to change it. Like, I'm not going to change that he's the
That's not the
president
attitude.
of
No,
the
yeah,
United
yeah,
States.
yeah. I get that. Like, yeah, what difference can we make?
No.
Do you know what I mean? Not a lot. Trump will do what Trump wants to do, regardless of how we feel. Biden will do what he wants to do. What I do think, though, taking the names out of it, Trump, Biden, whatever, you have to have strong characters on both sides, whether you agree with them or not. Because if Trump isn't there holding Biden accountable and Biden's not there holding Trump accountable, either one of them could just run away with their own ideologies, can't they?
Yeah.
So we do have to have, even though we don't like them, we have to have
You
opposition.
have to have two
We
really...
have to have
They
these
govern
dickheads.
each other.
Yeah,
don't they,
in a
really?
democracy you do. Obviously not in
They
Russia. You don't,
out-arsehole
because they
each other.
Kill people.
Yeah.
You know, they are arsey. Yeah, this is what I mean. But just to keep each other in check.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
2 massive cunts rather than one cunt.
Yeah. I think by now, though, I think that it was not good for the world if he came back into power. It's too much of a distraction. It'd be all over the news.
Yeah.
It's just drama. America won't be at peace. It will just go back into like conflict.
Yeah.
I think he just needs to like. He's 70, doesn't he? Just go retire on your golf course and just
Get
enjoy
someone
life.
younger.
If I had that much money, I would not be doing politics.
Get Arnold Schwarzenegger.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
I
they're doing
would like
politics.
move to Italy in a house.
I'd be
and
playing
just be,
golf,
like, not do anything.
have loads of dogs.
Yeah.
You do wonder what.
But see, we have a sane mind. That's the
That's
problem.
how I was in there as well.
Oh, yeah.
Golf, dogs.
Sound.
Can I come?
Yeah, sounds all right.
So is that a no from everyone?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a no.
Right, so there's no more politics bullshit.
I know, I don't like these politics questions.
Go for it.
Okay.
Make it happen, Luke.
Oh wait a minute, it's Verna's
Oh,
go.
yeah, go on.
I can.
Yeah.
It's fine.
There you go.
What if I pull another LGBT? Oh, that's sexism. Is sexism getting worse or better? I would say worse, to be fair.
Are we talking about sexism?
Sexism, yeah.
As in like cross-gender sexism.
See, from our point of view, I'd say better because
don't
it was
know.
really.
Again, that's again
yeah,
that thing.
same
of, like,
generational
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
because we grew up. In our opinion, I think sexism was just such a rife
Oh.
on telly, on
Yeah.
conversations, and women being that. I mean, women was not allowed in pubs when we were younger.
Yeah.
Like they was not allowed. It was not even a thing where it was just they wasn't allowed in. And
Even jobs and careers, it was just like the man goes out to work and you stay at home, and that was just the way it was.
and I feel like in some ways that worked for the people that wanted it to work. But
Sorry, Izzy, what's that lifestyle? I'm sorry. I just
yeah,
had
that's
to
what I'm saying.
not
I
wrong.
think-
Just saying.
Yeah,
There's
but I
nothing
think
wrong with that.
that was what my point was going to be, though. I do
There's
feel
nothing
like
wrong
there's
with
a
that.
lot of good things that came out of that with when it's your own choice. If it's your own choice, if you didn't want to, but now we seem to not be able to do that
Not being
because
funny,
it's not
but
for your
fuck
choice.
working 9 to 5.
Yeah,
It's
but that
horrific.
If you
again,
got-
we talked. Yeah,
I love the honesty.
She's
Yeah.
working 9 to 5. She's like,
I
fuck
hate
this. I think we talked about this on our podcast, honestly, because it comes to that point again of like extreme feminists.
Yeah.
When it comes to the point of like, why are you letting a guy open the door for you?
Yeah, that shit
Look,
pisses
it's
me
something I can do, but I don't have to.
I don't
If
have
he's
to, and
around,
I don't want to.
I don't have to, and I
And
don't
it's
want
chivalry,
to.
isn't it?
So it's like it's also
I
this.
think there's the borderline of there's sexism, but I don't know. I felt like my granddad had so much respect for my grandma,
Yeah.
but I don't think there's that respect for women anymore because of this.
Do you think your grandma probably had
equality.
as much respect for your granddad as well, though? It worked
I
both
think,
ways.
I think
they,
so,
they would have
yeah.
looked after
Yeah.
each other in
Yeah.
what they wanted to do. I think my granddad and Nan was the
Well,
same.
because-
She
yeah.
cooked, but she enjoyed it, and he went to work and he enjoyed it. As long as you're doing what you enjoy and helping each other
Yeah.
out, that's the
long as
best
you're
way to
happy.
be a couple. Either way, man, woman,
Yeah.
man, woman, it doesn't matter. Respect each other, and then do what each other enjoys, and respect each other and be nice to each other. That's
Yeah.
the simplicity of having a nice
Yeah.
life. But people are trying to get too many roles.
It's just like as well, like paying on the first date. There's that massive debate, and everyone's like,
I don't care. I actually don't care.
What it's in like it's wrong. Is it,
that
is
a guy
it wrong
has
now?
to pay on the first date.
Yeah.
I don't care.
no.
Right,
You can
okay,
pay at the end of the
Right.
day. Here's the
I
thing.
don't
What about you,
care.
Izzy?
I-
What about
if
you? What's your opinion?
Yeah, you said that. Okay, yeah.
I'm not bothered, but
there's nothing.
We
in the first.
see for me, I would always pay. That's how.
No,
that's
so
where I've been
I
brought
went
up.
on a date the other week for the first time with this guy, and he paid, and I was like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
this is amazing. I felt so good. I was like,
See,
what the
I-
hell? That's
I
so nice
come-
because every other date
Yeah.
we've gone like split,
Oh, that
Really?
is-
Have
Yeah.
you really?
Yeah.
and I'm totally okay with it. Like,
Yeah.
I would be
I'd-
happier.
I could
no,
never.
I would be
no,
happier
no.
splitting it,
Could you?
but
I always split. No.
he makes them pay.
I'd be happy.
Yeah.
He
splitting
makes them
it.
pay.
Like,
Oh, why
I'd be
should I pay?
happier
Pay for
splitting
me.
it.
What is that
But
about?
it makes me feel so nice when they.
Yeah,
Go for
but
it.
do you know what?
It
though?
is
That's brilliant
nice.
you say that, and I think it is a nice thing. And
Yeah.
and why has that become wrong now? Because I think for me, I've already been brought up. I'd pay straight away. That's it. That's and it's not a sexist thing. It's just a respect thing. It's like
Yeah.
Yeah,
you've,
say that.
you've got dressed up. You spent a lot of time. We don't have to spend as
Wow,
much.
first time I heard a man say that.
Yeah, but but then you respect the fact that they've made that effort, and then you pay for the dinner. Because let's
Yeah.
be right, bit of gel in your hair and a new T-shirt, you're done.
Yeah.
That's it. You know what I mean,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
Job done.
What about if the girl's a high flyer and she's earning a 3-figure salary, and this kid is the lad?
3
is-
figures.
If she's
6
earning
figures.
3
Sorry,
figures,
Well, big 3 figures.
Yeah, she's on the.
Wow.
She's on the.
Couple
She's on
hundred quid
hundreds.
knocking about.
She's
Wow.
on hundreds a year.
Yeah.
She's,
Wow.
She's a.
Well,
But
I
no,
think
no,
then
but
you punch in, so
let
you
him finish,
pay.
let him go.
Sorry, yeah.
In that scenario, and the lad's probably at college and he's got a part-time job.
I
so
don't
he's
think she'd
struggling.
be there with him.
Yeah.
Why?
Just doesn't happen.
He's a nobody.
I
It
just
doesn't
don't think
happen.
that would happen.
It just
Why
doesn't
not?
happen.
All right, he looked like
Because-
Thor.
Yeah, what if he looked like Thor? That's a great
Yo.
scenario. Yeah, there you
He
go.
was broke, but looked like Thor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my brain is
Now you're
loading now.
changing, is he? Izzy's going for a job
Yeah.
now.
No,
Really?
yeah.
Honestly.
You're
Yeah.
not telling the truth, and he's really.
Would
He's
you not?
so dumb.
Wait. If that was a situation, you made so much money, and like he
If I made
did not,
loads of money and
would
he
you
was
not
fucking
pay?
thick as shit, no.
And he looked like Thor.
Yeah, but you
I'd
can-
go out with him.
No, because how are you meant to sit and have a conversation? If I'm on a
Who
date
cares?
with
He looks like
someone,
Thor.
Just look at him.
No, but we're
No.
talking in a situation where you find him interesting, you went on a date, and you like him.
Yes.
if he actually,
Would you
if
pay?
he had something to him, then
Yeah.
yeah.
Would
But
you
if he's
pay?
dumb as fuck, no.
No, we're not talking about
Okay.
that. We're talking perfect scenario. You like him, he's fit,
Yeah.
the date is going
Yeah.
amazing. Would you pay?
I've been in that situation. I have paid before. I fucking hated it, and my mum was
you?
like, "Never again."
I'm so. Why am I so surprised? There's lads out there that do that.
He was punching.
Well, because
as well.
Generation thing, isn't
Yeah,
it?
but
generation
I think
thing.
as well they've just looked at because they're probably bothered about offending rather than just
Yeah,
going, look, let me
true.
pay.
No,
could
he
be.
literally said he was like, I don't have money.
Oh, right.
I'm not paying."
Hey, that's a knobhead. That's
Yeah, he's a douche.
somebody
Yeah,
that you should
yeah. I
hang
was
out
like,
with.
okay,
Yeah.
I'll pay.
I think I
Oh,
would.
wow.
I think I'd have to pay. I think that's the whole traditional gender role
That's
thing that's ingrained
it's-
in me.
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Mm.
I feel
I feel-
uncomfortable not
in
doing
fact,
it.
I would actually feel like the pressure that I'd have to pay. Not pressure, like I just think, right, this is my role. I'm paying for this
Yeah.
meal, regardless of how it goes.
Mm.
Unless she's an absolute knob, and then I'm just
Yeah.
gonna bounce and leave with the bill for her.
I don't know. I don't mind.
I'd never expect anyone to pay, but I would love it if they did.
Yeah.
So
I
you
don't
do
mind.
expect them to pay.
In a nutshell.
Yes.
You know
But I
what,
wouldn't
though?
be like,
That's
I'm
the
not going to
tricky
see
of
that
women.
boy
That is.
ever again.
That's the tricky of women. I'm not bothered about it, but I'm bothered.
No, but like I wouldn't cut him off. I wouldn't be like, oh, I'm not seeing that boy again. He didn't pay.
Just
Yeah.
have to.
I actually really like
Yeah.
your. I really like your honesty around
Yeah,
all
it's
of
good.
this because I don't really meet many females now who are this honest to say, yeah, I'd happily stay at home while the.
I
break
want to
goes
be a
down, but-
stay-at-home mum. I
Yeah.
think that's where I'm suited. I love kids.
Well, the
love
thing
being.
is,
I think family's really important to me,
Yeah.
and it's just like
I mean, some blokes will hate me saying this, but men can't look after kids like women can.
Well, we
They
said
just
this.
can't.
We said this the other
Like,
day, and I want to reiterate
can't.
this point. You know about war and stuff like that. We said men go to war, and we had a conversation about it, and women stay at home. It's because if we stayed at home and they went to war, you guys
It would
went
be a
to
war zone at
in the
home.
older days.
I
It would
think
just
we'd
be a
be fucking
mess.
fine. I think you
It'd be
guys
a
would be
fucking
the ones-
would.
Yeah.
You'd get it sorted and come back
If
and
you
go,
sent
what the
women,
fuck
if you
has
sent
happened?
women into war, it'd probably be over pretty quick.
It would. You get it sorted. You go in and go, listen, do we really need to do this? No, yeah.
No,
and
I
then
think
come
we'd
back.
be like,
Oh yeah, just shoot them.
I don't care.
Oh, you just go and annihilate them all. Come back,
Yeah.
and the whole country would be fucking in a
Yeah.
mess.
Yeah, because you can't just leave men to run that.
No, fuck kids
No
running
way.
about.
There's a
We'd
good,
just
good,
be like,
good
oh.
sound effect as well. That
Yeah, it
Thank
was
you.
great gun sound
Thanks.
effect. You do that again.
I'm not doing that. I'm
machine
not doing
gun.
that. That was a one-time thing. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Oh yeah, we'll just sit and have prosecco. that's what your idea was. You're like, no, we'll kill them all.
Yeah, I didn't think prosecco. That was a bit sexist, mate.
Oh, sexist? Why? Why
Right.
is
So,
prosecco?
so what was the question? Is
Don't throw it
sexism
out there.
getting?
Sexism getting better or worse?
I think there's pros and cons to both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's getting.
And I think at least we're talking about it more now. That's
Yeah.
the thing. Whereas before it was just a hidden agenda. Now we're all.
Yeah.
I think, like you said, it's everyone's right to want to do what they want to do, whether they're a man or a woman. And I think as long as you're happy, you're happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on then. Who's next?
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Oh God. Is the UK getting better or worse as a country?
Ooh.
That's a really good. See,
In
right.
terms of what?
I know.
I'm gonna say one thing. As an immigrant, no, I'm just kidding. I as coming from a country that is economically absolutely horrible, especially for fashion. I came here and I was like, this is amazing. The type of education I received at university is absolutely stunning. And I know I complain about it. It's like $9,500 per year, but the education and the experience that I've had, I would not be able to get that if I was in Croatia. But then I spoke to a volunteer in White Rose, and she came here as an immigrant, and the amount of money that she told me that she has to pay as an immigrant in the UK is mad. $2,000 every year, $2,000 for NHS every 4 months, and then all of this stuff. And I'm like, you're inviting people into this country and being prideful of this is a multiracial, multi-nationality, multicultural country. But then here you go, all of these receipts, there you go, pay. I can honestly say, like, I go to, every year for uni, I had to go into the administration office and hand in my papers because I have a pre-settled status. And I would be, just in front of me would be so many POC students waiting for hours and hours, going through paperwork this big for nothing. So I feel like it's better when you move from a smaller country into a bigger one, like you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. But then when you actually go deep into it of what you have to do to stay in this country, I think it's horrible.
Well, that's what I was about to say. None of us are aware of any of that until you've just said that. And that's...
So it's things that you get shocked by when you move here. Like, I'm honestly going to say, I will always praise the UK for the education, the job that I have. Like, I get paid so much more than my friends. Like, my friends get paid like maybe £1 per hour in Croatia because that's like the minimum wage for a student. I get paid £10.50 in White Rose. That's a good pay for a student. I make like £1,500 per month. That's amazing. So I can't really complain. But then when you go into the nitty gritty of it, the things that I waited for my national insurance number for 2 years and I couldn't get a job. So it's that whole thing of like how they treat people that come from other countries is just horrible and vile.
So it's like at the front, at the face of it, we're really good at doing that, but then behind the scenes, where all the systems are in place,
it comes into the situation where you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. You get to meet all these different people, and it's so welcoming and blah blah blah. But then you go through the system, and you're like, what? You're just kind of like confused. System. Why do I have to pay for all of this? Why do I have to do all of this? I know you guys also pay for stuff. I'm not saying that you don't, but it's just kind of like the amount of money. I was very lucky because I was the last generation of students who was able to get into the UK without paying for a visa. So I just got a pre-settled status, which means that after 3 years I'll have to get a British citizenship, which I'm fine with because I can have a dual citizenship, so I'll have 2 passports. I'm okay with it. But after me, all of the students from Croatia that want to go in have to pay so much money for university, so much money for a visa, so much money to stay in the country. It's actually crazy. It gives you the idea of like, you can come here and get this opportunity, but we'll drain all of the money from you that
it's
you
almost
can't
like a
pay
yes and
for
no
it.
answer there,
and then it comes to the situation where you're like, I can't get a job because they won't give me a job because I'm a POC or just a person from a different country. Don't even have to be a POC. But I have to pay for all of this, so I can't get a job. I have to pay for it. So then it comes to the point where like, I'm just going to go back. So then you go back to your country.
What's POC stand for?
Person of color.
Okay. Am I stupid for not knowing that?
No, it's fine. No.
That's how you know it, though, isn't it? That's good. Well, we got something similar with Abs come on, didn't we? He talked about how his journey into the UK, and it surprised us because it's the longevity of it and the difficulty. We get told, and
he still hasn't got citizenship now, has he? He's been here 8 years, 12 years.
And the media will put it as in like, oh, everyone's coming over, and what they're doing is this and this and this, and then they're missing out the massive rigmarole that have to go through and to get money and the families and everything like that. So yeah, I think it's a good point that we're not as good as we say we are in this country. I think when it comes to that.
I mean, I think I don't know how much you know what Europe thinks of the UK.
So we can have a good guess.
Yeah, we just kind of Eurovision. We're hated.
It's not only that. It's just kind of the UK is this vision of, to us, UK is London. That's it.
Yeah.
Nothing else exists when you think about it. The only thing maybe that they know is like Man's United. That's it. That's all we know because of football. But it's just like London. That's it. The royal family. That's the UK. And I remember when I came back for my first year over the summer, they were like, oh, they really polite, they speak very posh, and I'm like,
no,
do you know what the UK is? I was like, have you been, like, literally, I mean, I don't think, Nottingham is a good representation of how UK people function and stuff like that, I would say, honestly. But it's just like when I came back, they were like, oh, are they all like from London, very fashionable? And I was like, oh, sweetie, oh, bless you, London is not England to me. It's not England. This is England. And I'm not saying that it's bad. To me, it's amazing. I love it. But it's that type of thing of like, we don't understand actually what the UK is. And then
I think there's so much more to the UK than
there's so much
a lot of people.
Especially foreigners.
If you look at Leeds compared to Surrey, it's like you're living in two different countries.
Two different worlds.
So I think it's just a shock when they come over.
What was the question again? Is the UK getting worse?
Better or worse?
We didn't give any longevity time, or because I mean, 500 years ago, it's probably better than that.
Yeah, probably.
But I think from when we were kids to now, there's two ways of looking at it, because our lives when we were children was no internet, no computers. We was outside a lot. We found our own fun. And we made friends, and I think we was a bit more of a community. I think that community's gone. I think community's gone onto online, which doesn't make a community. Do you know what I mean? A community was when we would have corner shops, and we'd have schools that you could go and play outside until it was dark, and all of those things. And that doesn't happen anymore. And
social media is the fake community, isn't it? That's the problem.
Yeah.
So, on our point of view, I think it's probably getting worse, in my opinion.
I think since leaving the EU, it's gone worse.
Oh, I think so. You left us.
I'm pissed off.
Well, you didn't like us, that's why.
Well, you couldn't stand us.
Yeah.
Yeah, Europeans can't. I've always hated Britain. Not always, but there's always been a lot
I
of
don't think we've
conflict
done
here.
very good.
I mean,
have
I
the
get
saying
why,
of like
but-
you
Yeah, I
are
get
on
why.
your own island and you live on your own island. And even if when England was in the EU, it wasn't EU.
No,
It never
no,
will be.
no.
Culturally, never. It never will be. So it's just like it's their own. We always say it's their own island. They live on their own island and they can do what they want, and we're the rest.
And we think
So-
we do what we want, but we
Yeah,
don't.
you do
That's
do
what,
what
yeah,
you want.
yeah, we think we do.
I think the thing that I was mostly shocked about, which I talked about to my mom about it the other day, when I was flying first time to the UK on my own, there was this water polo team behind me, and I remember they were looking at their tickets and they were like, "We don't know if we're going in the priority or non-priority queue." And then one of them, it was not a joke, he was being dead serious. He was like, "We go to the priority. We're always priority. We're British."
Oh
And
wow.
I was like,
That's got nothing to do with being British. That's
I was like, yeah,
Probably
fact.
from Surrey.
I was like, checks out, to be fair,
Yeah.
because I feel like a lot of British people are just very like, we're above everybody.
Sense of
Well, I think
entitlement.
for hundreds of years, British children have been taught that Britain is one of the most
Yeah.
powerful countries in the world, one of the best societies in the world, one of the most developed societies in the world. It's just a lie. It's just bullshit. Like there's nothing. Great Britain was able to develop faster than any other country in the continent simply because we were an island,
Yeah.
and so we never had a war on our own soil. It was always on the sea or on the continent, which massively disrupted Europe, but we never disrupted us. So that's the only reason why Britain did develop faster and therefore dominated the world for a little bit. Apart from that, this country's fucking shit. It's a cesspit. It's a cesspit. That's what it is. Like you go to Europe, there's places there that are beautiful. You go to Scandinavia.
But there's so many nice places
There
here.
is. But what I'm saying is,
yeah.
we ruin it as people. Like, this
Yeah.
country. There's beautiful places to look at, but if you go to Scandinavia, they're so much more civilized than us.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, they are.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're so much more advanced than us. And what I'm saying is, like the way they think, the way they educate.
As a society.
Well, you look
When
at
you walk down the street, they even look different.
Yeah,
Better
yeah.
presented. The streets
Yeah.
are clean. We are just brainwashed into thinking that we're the dominant country when we're not.
Well,
And that's the point I'm getting
Amsterdam one was in the park. We had an amazing walk through the
to.
park.
Oh, incredible.
And everyone was just smiling and happy, and there was just on
Oh,
the
is this
park.
Scandinavia?
No, this was in Amsterdam.
Oh,
So
nice.
that's
Oh, yeah.
another thing.
Amazing,
But,
yeah.
but it was a lovely day, and I mentioned to Joe because I was like, "Where are the crate of beer? Where is a guy with a football smacking on someone?"
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
we
'Cause
don't have that.
that's what I mean.
They're all having a
it's really-
spliff instead.
It's really easy for me to say these things though, because I'm not from a third world country. I'm not from a sub-Saharan African state. I'm not from places where people have struggled. I get that, right? So some people might go, "You're spoiled."
Yeah,
What the point I'm trying to make is that British people are brainwashed into thinking that we have an amazing country when there are other European nations that I think are so
and
much
that
more
stops. But that
Oh, yeah.
stops progress as well because our ego goes, "Oh, we
course.
don't need to do anything more."
But my
Yeah.
brother, he lives in the Netherlands. He actually lives in Rotterdam, and he said he'll never come back to the UK.
Yeah, my
Because
friend lives
the
there.
work
Yeah.
culture, work-life balance
Yeah.
is just
Yeah.
10 times better than
Yeah.
what we've got here.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Work life and like you say that the things that you can do after work. My friend lives there and he just says, "Yeah, I would never ever
Yeah.
enter into
Everything's
this
hectic
rat
here.
race."
Things are rush here. It's so intense life in Britain nowadays.
it's so intense. Like, I
was-
won't go to London. I don't want to get a job in London.
No, see, I had when I moved here, I was like, I had a dream. I was like, Nottingham, London. But then I just kind of gave up on that dream just because I went to London 2 weeks ago and I was like, actually,
All my
not rat
siblings,
race. I
all
was
my
like, what
siblings
is
live
this?
there. They work there, and I
Yeah,
couldn't
no,
think of
not
anything
good.
fucking.
The only thing
worse.
I will say that I still can't get a grasp on, your nightlife.
Oh, we're
Why-
fucking great. What are you on about? That's the one
Why-
thing that we're actually quite
no,
good at.
The
Right. The
sesh.
thing is,
That's
you
what we-
go out at 6 p.m., you get battered
Yeah.
at 8, and then you come home at 3.
Yeah.
What is that about? We like have dinner at 9. then you sleep for a little bit, and then you get ready at midnight, get to the club at 1, and then you're,
boring.
saying hi to the bread maker at 7 a.m.
We're binge drinkers.
To be
That's
fair,
what we are.
we're all binge drinkers. But I
binge
think
drinking
modern
culture.
culture in Britain, I think we're more day drinkers. I think day drinking is for us.
Yeah,
I hate
It's
day
more,
drinking.
you know,
As soon
we're
as the
out at
sun
12
hits
o'clock
out.
and we're out all day.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate day
That's
drinking.
pretty-
St.
There you
Patrick's
go.
Day, I'm impressed I managed to stay alive on that day.
I went out in the
started at
evening on St.
12.
Patrick's Day. I loved it.
Started at 12, finished at 5 in the morning.
Nice work.
That's
But that's
great.
British culture.
Good
isn't it?
shift.
That's
Well,
British
yeah, because I'm
culture.
just saying, yeah, nice work.
All
Yeah,
day.
I mean, yeah, really.
All day at
There we
sleep.
go.
Also, what's
Yeah.
with you
Culture.
guys and getting drunk before you get on airplanes? What is that
Oh,
about?
well, I'm with you on that.
I thought that was on a ticket.
I think there's a first line.
I thought it said
Free
priority or get as drunk as you can. And
There's 2 queues.
yeah,
Non-priority,
ticket, yeah.
priority, drunk.
Steaming. Yeah.
Because it was the first time I've ever seen it. We were in Manchester and our flight was delayed for 11 hours, and this woman got pissed. Sat next to me, vomited in her Dior scarf. And
Oh,
then,
Probably
like,
fake then.
honestly, well, I don't care. It was Ryanair. It was like 8
Yeah,
quid
it would've been
for
fake
a
then, wouldn't
seat, so it's fine. But yeah, she was just gone, and I never in my life have I seen so many people get on a plane. They were all going for holiday in Croatia, so they were all like pissed, and I was like, why would you put yourself in
Yeah,
a situation where we get drunk before going on a plane?
Well, that's just dumb. But like, if you're going on a night out, I feel like it's because our nighttime, like, it gets dark at around 7. So if you're out at
it doesn't.
6,
I think the culture came
It
from
does.
years ago, though, when we were younger, and the culture was so you'd have a last orders at 11, and what you do is
Yeah.
you go out and go to a pub, and then at 11 o'clock they would shut it, so everyone would just get 4
That's
or
what
5
it used to
pints.
be, yeah.
Well, it's
And,
the
and,
same.
and then you'd get to a club, and then you'd have to drink because 3 o'clock gone. And what they did was they changed to 24-hour Europe, and everyone just went, "We'll do it twice as much."
Yeah.
And that's everyone did. They went, "Well, I've got
All
to
through
Yeah,
drink."
when we were young, it was pubs were closed at 10:30, 11.
Yeah.
There's nothing past 11 o'clock.
but
Go
that's
to a
the
nightclub.
same down where I am.
Is
Like,
it?
in Surrey, all the pubs close at 11:30.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Not
That's why I
Do you
like
think they
working
stay
down
up
there.
Yeah,
for
but Surrey's a
catering?
nice place to live.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
guys, just so we're all aware, we're massively over our time on this podcast.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's
that's easy.
crazy.
Mike has been really polite. Matt's probably fell asleep in the control room. I don't know. He's still here, mate. There you are. How are we doing? Yeah, we've got to wrap it up in a minute. Are there any more questions in there? Or is there anything else that anybody wants to ask, talk about, go over? Last 5 minutes. Is that all right, Mikey?
Yeah.
Yeah, you still here, mate? Yeah.
Got the okay. Got the all clear. Is that a good one?
Let's just do that last question. Last
Is
question.
Love Island bad for mental health? Yes.
Ah, yes.
God,
That's
yes.
a great
That's a
one.
good
For
one
your
to
body
finish on.
image.
Yeah.
What are
It's
your two
horrible.
views on Love Island?
I don't watch it.
What about Izzy?
love it.
I don't.
I love
Do
it.
you?
I don't love it for like, oh, they're gonna fall in love. There's just so much drama. It's funny. Like,
Is it just you're watching it because you're
It's just
bored
trash
with your
TV.
own life, so you watch other people's drama?
Oh dear.
Oh, wow.
That was a dick. She's laughing now. I think she was joking.
you know how entertaining my love life is.
It is. It is.
I
it
could have
is.
my own TV show.
I want to
No,
ask a question on Love Island. Just, I used to watch it. I don't anymore. But what I've noticed more recently is they used to be ripped. They used to be proper.
Are
They're
they
not
not? They're not
ripped
great
anymore.
now.
You know, the lads now that are in it, they're not. It's more like a dad bod. Is that
Oh, have
culture
I got a
change?
chance to get on Love
I
Island?
think it's. I don't know. Am I wrong?
No, I feel like
Dead bods are trendy.
dad bods are where it's at.
See, that's what is that true then? Yeah, that
I
must.
don't know.
be.
I think it depends
That
on the
is
person.
crazy.
I think it depends on the person. But like,
Is that real?
if someone had a 6-pack
Yeah.
and someone had like a bit of chub on them, I'm going for the chubby one.
Yeah,
There you
she's
go.
going
So
for
it's
the
true
chubby
then.
one.
That's why it's
Thank
changed. That's
fuck
mad.
for that. I knew if I waited long enough, it'd fucking come round.
No, but I don't know. I think it depends on who you're talking to. But
Yeah.
I think maybe for the guys it's changed a little bit. They're not as ripped as they
No.
were, but the girls, fucking hell, I wouldn't want to go and stand next to them.
Haven't seen.
They're
it, so
all, I don't know,
no.
but they're all like fit into one type, I feel
Yeah,
like, as well.
They're all
Like,
Yeah, they
inside.
do,
aren't
yeah.
They've got a very like
I wouldn't
one-dimensional.
say that, but I just feel like they've all had so much work done. And it's like,
At such a young age
I
as
think they're
well.
all
yeah, well, me and
Crazy.
my friend, so I'm 23, she's 24, and we were sat in bed because we lived together and we were watching it. And they were saying their ages. I was like, they're 22. So this guy was a year younger than me. I was like, she looks like she's 30.
Yeah,
I was like,
'cause I love so
I was like, fucking hell, I thought she was old.
I'm glad
And
you
she's
said
22.
that. Yeah.
And they've had so much work done, and I'm just like,
Don't you think they're all vulnerable people on that show? Like they're quite suggestible people, aren't they? Like they're
Well,
you know,
it's fully ego.
they're all it's full of ego. They've had loads of work done at a
It
young
is,
age, so they're
yeah.
obviously insecure about something.
I don't know. I think like I loved Love Island when it first came back onto TV with like Olivia Atwood. Is it Atwood?
Yeah,
I don't know.
what you mean,
Yeah,
Olivia,
because I feel like a lot of them, there were a lot more women and men that just didn't have work done. And it's like now, I know for a fact every single one of them's had plastic surgery. And
At the
like,
age of
I don't think
22.
that's
That's
good for your
wild.
mental health
No,
watching it. And I
exactly.
don't think it's good for their mental health
It's not
being
good
on
for
it.
your body
because-
image and stuff
Well,
like
if I
that.
went on there and I came out to receive all the hate messages that they get, I don't know how I'd
The
feel
problem
about
is that
it.
it's an unrealistic view of what people look like, and then basically people try and achieve that look, and then forget about any kind of substance that they've got. And I think,
But it's just,
it's just
But
sad.
why do we?
know.
But I think the pull factor for that show is the drama, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah,
And not
what
the
they do,
fact that they're got
they
no
make-
clothes on.
Well, and that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is they make games up for them, don't they? And they get them to argue that's going to cause
Yeah.
conflict and all that sort of stuff. And
Yeah.
some of them look genuinely upset. Like it genuinely
Oh,
hurts their
yeah.
feelings, doesn't it? So it's like
I think a lot of people go on being like, oh, I'm going to make a shit ton of money when I get off
right,
this.
yeah.
But then when you do get in there, obviously you've got nothing else to do but talk to these people. You're going to form something.
of course you are, yeah.
And then I think
it's
that
all
they
fake,
get.
to be fair.
Oh, I
Do you?
don't.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't
think-
know. I'm
because,
so
like,
gullible. If I
when
went
you-
on there, I'd fall in love with
You
someone.
think about what was that show called? What was that one on Netflix? It was kind of similar to Love
Too Hot to
Island.
Handle?
Well, have you ever
Too
watched
Hot
it?
to Handle, yeah. So basically, a lot of people from Too Hot, I don't know if you guys saw it.
No.
Basically,
I've
the
heard
whole,
about it. I
It's
ain't
like
the
a
seen
whole
it.
idea
raunchier
is
version.
they put
Oh,
them in
okay.
this house, all of these like
Yeah.
fit people,
And you
then
can't
they
have
tell them
sex or get
they
off
can't
or
do
do
any
anything.
kiss, you can't have sexual interactions, you can't do anything. If you do,
The money
you-
goes down.
The money goes
Yeah.
down. That they're supposed to win at the end of
Oh,
the.
wow. So they make it
show.
forbidden.
Yeah.
That's a good
So
idea.
apparently, few people came out that were
Skin.
on Too Hot to Handle. Well, not only that, but they basically said that like there's moments where they give them phones that they can communicate with
Ah.
other people and then
Yeah.
tell them what to say in certain situations.
it's
I
almost
feel like
like
all
it's-
those reality shows are just.
Well, have you seen it? Have you seen it?
Semi-scripted,
Remember the
sort of.
first
Yeah.
Big Brother? The first bit. Have you ever seen the first?
I remember
Yeah,
watching
yeah,
the first
yeah.
Big
I
Brother.
I've
mean,
not seen the first.
yeah, and it was just they were normal people.
That's
and
what I mean.
it- yeah.
I just feel like if
How
they got
long ago was
students
that?
on it, would be so
Must be
good.
20 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, a joiner won it. I mean,
jo-
that's,
yeah.
Still
yeah,
happening,
yeah.
Big Brother.
I
Is it
don't
still
know.
They
happening?
stopped it.
They stopped it, but there
But
was
they're bringing it
talk.
back, I
They've
swear.
come back. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
bringing it back.
But it was so
Nice.
normal, and it was like a bit boring.
It was
Like,
just a
everyone
human
like,
experiment.
Yeah,
on
yeah.
There
telly
was
is
no
what it was.
editing. There was no music in the background and slow motion.
And then people
none of
start to
that. It
lose
was
their
just-
mind slightly as
Yeah.
well. So they were like, oh, okay.
But
this is
you
getting-
used to have to apply for Love Island, and now there's people that go out and
Yes,
scout
scout
for
for it.
people, and I don't
Yes.
think that should be allowed because I'm like, it's
Yeah.
not a normal person. This,
Yeah.
like
No.
Molly,
Yeah.
one of the new girls on it, she's a social media girl. Like she's
Yeah.
made her career for this,
Yeah.
and now she's on it. She's going to come out with loads of followers.
Is there a lot of podcasters on it? Have there ever been on it with a dad pod?
I don't know. Maybe you should
You
give it a
charge
go.
yourself up for it, mate.
Apply for it.
I would be shit on it.
I think,
I
I'd
don't
be
know.
I
terrible.
think you'd be amazed on
You'd,
the
you'd come up with these one-liners and you'd get
Yeah.
loads of screen time.
Yeah.
Chase your dreams, Luke. Do
Yeah,
it.
chase your dreams.
I'm
mate.
going to do it. This dad pod's going to pay for my mortgage at some point.
No, me and my friends have this. We're always like, would you go on it?
I would not go.
I'd go on
Definitely,
it
give
for
it
the
a go.
vans.
You'd have
Yeah.
a go, wouldn't you? I'd have a go. 100%.
Don't know
Can't
what.
think of anything worse.
Can I do the first day walking
I
on
think
with just
it'd be
a pair of shorts on? It's like, hey
hysterical.
up, everyone. Like, who's this guy?
I think I don't know. I think I could go on it.
I wouldn't.
I
wouldn't
think it'd be
survive. because
fucking
I would just. I'm
funny.
not that type of person. I wouldn't interact with people. If they would annoy me, I would just sit in the corner. And be
Oh
like,
no, I'd
reading a
cause
book,
so
just
much
like that.
drama.
"Can't be arsed."
What you'd purposely go out to cause drama, like mix it
I
up a little
wouldn't
bit.
go out of my way to cause drama. I'd just cause drama.
Watch being yourself.
Yeah,
Real
yeah.
walking-
You'd be
real
really
walking
good
Well,
then, if that's
it-
the case.
It's like multiple men, wouldn't it?
I'd be like, what?
See,
Toby
me,
Hoffa.
Multiple men.
Me and Izzy are those type of people. Like we don't go out and scout for drama; it just comes to us.
Yeah.
That's why we call ourselves living memes.
Sorry, say that
because-
again. You don't go out and scout
No,
for...
we don't go out like to create drama. It just comes to us.
Oh, I see, right.
like
yeah.
all of a sudden, just
Your
something
drama
happens to me and
magnets.
Izzy. You're like,
You attract it.
No, but we're the type of
Yeah,
people
yeah,
that's like, we're
definitely.
gonna go for one drink.
Mm.
We go home at like 4 a.m.
then have so many stories. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a bad thing.
But
That's a
didn't
good
you
thing.
earlier say that you believe in the universe? Do you believe in like the law of attraction and
Yeah.
energy and
Yeah.
bringing it to you? So
I feel like I haven't
vibration.
resolved most of the issues in my life, so they just keeps coming. It just keeps rolling around.
Well, I
Yeah.
get, but
all
at
about what you
uni as
attract.
well, there's so
Yes.
much drama. If you go, I attract rugby boys.
Rugby
Yes, you do.
boys.
Do I?
Yeah, she dates rugby boys. We're not going to talk about it.
That's for another podcast, I think.
Yeah.
That's a whole conversation.
Yeah.
That's,
Rugby
love life is
boys.
a different situation.
Yeah.
She's the type of girl like when she shows you a guy, she doesn't show you his face. She shows you his thighs.
I do.
She like zooms in on his thighs and she's like, look
I'm
at
like,
him, and I'm
look
like,
at him.
I can't see his face. I'm like, mate.
Izzy likes big thighs.
I do. It's
Yeah.
literally one of my
She
prompts on
does.
Hinge.
There you go.
So when are you two guys going to start your podcast? And then, I mean, you've already started it.
Yeah.
I've seen the first episode. Are you gonna?
We do need to film another one
we're moving in together in September. So.
Tell us what it's called.
Purge the Poison.
Well, tell me about that name.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it started off as this was our dissertation, right, for uni, and we had to come up with something that we really were interested and fascinated about. And I started with horror films, which then went down this whole female, I don't know if you guys are into horror, but if you've watched Scream, it's always there's always one girl that survives, and she's always a virgin, and it's always it's a really innocent girl. And then that kind of took a turn in recent years where it's if you've watched The Handmaid's Tale, that's just amazing.
Yeah,
that's
have
really
you seen
good.
I get scared.
No,
I got anxiety. I was getting anxiety before putting it on. I was like, why am I doing this to myself?
No,
Why am I
it's
watching
so
this program?
good.
And I had to watch it.
I can't watch Crime Watch. I can't do.
Oh no, you can't watch this then.
Yeah,
no,
it's
this
pretty
is
intense.
so
Yeah.
good.
Is
It's
this
so
where
good.
it's Handmaid's Tale? Is it where is it AI? Or am I thinking?
No,
of something
that's
else?
Westworld.
That's
I
what I was
think,
thinking of. Yeah, yeah.
No, Handmaid's Tale is where it's a futuristic world where America has been overtaken by this basically a cult, and
It's
women
been divided
can't
in-
have kids anymore, apart from women that could before
that
the
are lower class.
disease came.
Yeah,
Wow.
And basically,
You see
these
that?
rich people,
it's really
they
good.
take
That sounds
you
pretty good,
basically have a
It's
sex
really,
slave.
really
Yeah,
good.
It's a
Yeah,
Bobby
you
Howard
basically
book.
have a sex slave, and then they try and impregnate them, but they're they can't leave, and
So they basically
Wow.
catch
That's
girls who are
Yeah.
still fertile because the world's losing its
Yeah.
fertility.
Right.
And they have to live in the home, and they get raped by the man and
Yeah.
the woman. It's a ceremony.
every
And
month.
when they have a
Yeah.
baby,
Yeah.
when they have
it's
the baby
awful.
gets taken away from them.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And it's
Yeah.
just
And then they
like
get sent to another house.
the
Oh,
way
wow.
it's done.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really like oh
And
my
slightly
God.
It's
could be
fucked up.
real.
The
Oh
reason
no,
why-
that it was based off something real.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
and the problem with being interested in politics is you think to yourself, this shit could happen.
Yeah,
Oh, no, it could, yeah.
it could. Yeah,
no, it's true.
100%.
It's not.
Fully.
It's not that far away from somebody doing
In
making
America,
society like that.
100%.
Yeah, anything could happen.
Yeah, that's just a given. That could happen next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, it's just about taking back power and just speaking your truth. But I think it's just a space for women to talk about anything, but also not just women, just different opinions on different things, kind of like what you guys have done here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But through a women's lens
Yeah.
focus.
perfect.
I think it's really good. You should do it. Make
Yeah.
sure you
Thank
crack
you.
on.
Really, really
Thank
good.
you.
Really
And
educational.
if you need any guests,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, we'll
100%.
definitely book you
Fully
on.
educated. Fully educated.
But we want free merch. For it.
Yeah, we want the same treatment.
Okay.
We want the same treatment.
All right.
Yeah. You know what?
What do you
He's-
mean? We bought these. What
Yeah.
you
Oh,
talking
oh, yeah.
We are going to bill you.
Yeah. No, it's been really good. It's been
Yeah,
interesting.
thank
It's been
you.
quite refreshing, actually.
Yeah, very good.
Thank you for having
It's
us.
changed my views.
Yeah.
I've been losing faith in the younger generation lately because I thought there was all woke idiots, but actually you're not.
No, you smashed it.
absolutely love
no,
it.
yeah, it's been a pleasure.
been
Yeah,
really good.
really enjoyed
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah. So thanks a lot. And Mikey, mate, you can go home now, pal. I'm sorry.
Thanks, girls.
Right, let's go
Thanks
to the
for
pub.
having me.
Yeah, amazing. Cheers, guys.
Hey, yo.